Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
With Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy here at Shea Stadium in New York as we get set to go with the second game of the current series between the New York Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals. The concluding game will be played tomorrow afternoon, a single game starting at 2 p.m. New York time. Starting pitchers in tonight's game for the St. Louis Cardinals, former Met left-hander Al Jackson. And for the New York Mets, Jack Hamilton. Right now, the umpires have come out to the home plate area, meeting with manager Red Schoendienst of the Cardinals, manager Wes Westrum of the Mets. Here are the starting lineups and batting orders for tonight's game. First for the visiting St. Louis Cardinals. Leading off in left field, Lou Brock. Batting second in center field, Curt Flood. Batting third in right field, Roger Maris. Batting fourth and playing first base, Orlando Cepeda. Batting fifth and catching, Tim McCarver. Batting sixth and playing third base, Mike Shannon. Batting seventh and playing second base, Julian Javier. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Dal Maxfield. Batting ninth and pitching, Al Jackson. For the New York Mets, leading off and playing center field, Cleon Jones. Batting second and playing first base, Ed Kranepool. Batting third at second base, Jerry Buchek. Batting fourth in left field, Tommy Davis. Batting fifth in right field, Ron Swoboda. Batting sixth at third base, Ken Boyer. Batting seventh and catching, Jerry Grody. Batting eighth at shortstop, Bud Harrelson. Batting ninth and pitching, Jack Hamilton. So in that batting order for the Mets, only one left-hand batter, Ed Kranepool, to face the left-hand pitcher, Al Jackson. The umpires now have gone to their station. Schoendienst has gone back to the Cardinal dugout. Wes Westrum has gone back now to the Met dugout. Al Jackson continues to warm up directly below our broadcasting position. Jackson this year for the Cards has won 3 and lost 2. Against the Mets last year, Jackson won 1 and lost 3. That is, of course, his lifetime record against the Mets. He was the starting pitcher in St. Louis last Friday night against the Mets. He was not involved in the final decision. The game was won by the Cardinals 7-5. Jackson allowed 8 hits and 5 runs in the 6 innings of the ball game that he worked. Tomorrow afternoon, it'll be big right-hander Don Cardwell going for the New York Mets, and Ray Washburn will be the pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. And then the Los Angeles Dodgers will be coming in here on Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. That will mark the first appearances of the Dodgers at Shea Stadium here in New York this season. And then next weekend, following the Dodgers in, the Atlanta Braves will be coming into Shea Stadium for the first time next Friday night, the 26th, next Saturday afternoon, and that'll be Ladies' Day, and then a doubleheader on Sunday, May 28th, and that will conclude the current homestand. Right now, the New York Mets are taking the field. Cardinal coaches take their post now. Dick Sisler coming out to first base. And very shortly, Joe Schultz will be coming out to take his position at first.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to join us.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, at Shea Stadium in New York, our national anthem. And now with the playing of our national anthem, Jack Hammond starts toward the mound. The New York Mets are on the field with Ed Cleanpool at first, Jerry Buchek at second, Bud Harrelson at shortstop, and Ken Boyer around at third. Tommy Davis is in left field, Cleon Jones is in the center field, and Ron Swoboda is in right field. Jerry Grody is doing the catching. A beautiful baseball night here in New York. Cardinals won the opening game of this series last night. Last weekend in St. Louis, the Mets and the Cards split a pair. Jack Hamilton is making his first start since June 13th of 1966, when he lost to the Cardinals here at Shea Stadium 4-1. Since that game, Hamilton has appeared in relief 42 times. Against the Cards last year, he won 1 and lost 3. The victory was a one-hitter. A bunt single by pitcher Ray Sadecki, the only hit off Hamilton in St. Louis a year ago, May 4th. His lifetime record against the Cardinals is 2 wins and 3 losses. You may recall that last night, Jack Fisher's first pitch was hit over the left field fence by Lou Brock. Lou Brock is coming to the plate now with a batting average of .331, 7 homers, 22 runs batted in. Lou Brock is a left-hand batter. And Hamilton's first pitch. Hit on the ground to second base. Second by Buchek, and he plays it over to Cranepool, and Brock is grounded out. So there's one away, and now center fielder Kurt Flood, hitting .306 with 7 runs batted in.
21.
In home runs, Jerry Buchek leads the Mets with 5. Tommy Davis has 4. In triples, there are 5 Mets tied with 1. In doubles, Tommy Davis leads with 7. In hits, Davis has 32, Cranepool 25. Pitch is high and tight to Kurt Flood. Runs batted in for the Mets, Tommy Davis and Ed Cranepool have 11 each, and Jerry Buchek has 10. Jack Hamilton with the pitch. Low and away for a ball. Hamilton's 28 years of age, 6 feet tall, a 200-pounder. Last year with the Mets, he won 6, lost 13. From Morning Sun, Iowa. Ed Vargo, the umpire behind the plate. Here's swinging a foul ball back and out of play. Counts 2-1. Vargo's behind the plate. Billy Williams is the umpire at first. Frank Sikori at second. Ken Burkhardt on at third. Outside. 3-1. There's a swing and a foul ball back. It's going to be in the lower field box. It's not a play. Jerry Grody gave it a run. The count is out full. It's 3-2 to Flood with Roger Maris waiting on deck. Saturday night at Shea Stadium. Here's a payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Hammond strikes out Kurt Flood. Now Roger Maris. Maris is hitting an even .300. He has 1 home run and 10 runs batted in. Having come over to the Cardinals this year from the New York Yankees in exchange for infielder Charlie Smith, himself a former Met. Hamilton's pitch to the left-hand batter. Swung on and missed, strike 1. Roger Maris, who hit 61 home runs for the Yankees in the 1961 season. pitch is outside for a ball. Orlando Cepeda has moved out on deck now for the Cardinals. Here's a swing and a high pop into left field down the line. Harrelson giving it a run, and he is taking the catch and falling to the turf as he does, but hanging on to the ball, retiring the side. He took a look at Tommy Davis to see if Davis was going to make a run for it, and then had to sort of lunge to make the grab and go down on his knees as he did. But the side is out. No runs, no hits, there's none left. And the score in the middle of the first inning is the Cardinals nothing and the Mets coming to bat.
Say, how would you like to take a trip to the World Series? Plus $10,000 to blow on a style to which you are unaccustomed. That's the grand prize in Rheingold's Score with the Mets game, along with 500 pair of free Mets tickets every week. And to play the game, all you need is a pencil. Just figure out how many runs the Mets will have scored from their first season game to the mid-season All-Star break on July 9th. We'll even give you a clue. Last year, the Mets scored 299 runs by the break. You don't even have to buy anything. Just pick up an official entry blank now at your local store or tavern in New York or Connecticut, where you see the Rheingold Score with the Mets display. Write down your estimate. Stick on a stamp and drop it right into the mailbox. You can enter as many times as you want, which is a good idea because in addition to the grand prize, each entry is eligible for that week's drawing of 500 pair of Met tickets. That's right. We're giving away 500 pairs of Mets tickets each week. So, enter every week. One of them is bound to have your name on it. Play the $10,000 Rheingold game. It's a great way for our Mets fan to get rich quick.
Thank you very much, Ralph Kiner. And here we go to the bottom half of the first inning. Cleon Jones coming up for the Mets with a batting average of 129. He's had one home run and 3 runs batted in. He's a right-hand batter facing left-hand pitcher Al Jackson. Al's first pitch of the ball game, and it's low. Al Jackson was an expansion draft selection of the Mets when they were formed in 1962 off the roster of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here's a swing and a miss. 1-1. Before the start of last season, Jackson was traded to the Cardinals along with Charlie Smith in exchange for Ken Boyer. And then Smith was traded on over to the Yankees for Roger Maris. So, in effect, the Cardinals got Al Jackson and Roger Maris for Ken Boyer. 1-1 pitch. Inside for a ball. It's 2-1. And Ken Boyer is today celebrating his 36th birthday. No score in this game. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. Here's a swing and a ground ball off the glove of Jackson, taking it short by Maxwell, and all over to Cepeda, making a 1-6-3. Wallaway and Ed Cranefield coming up, hitting .362 with 3 home runs and 11 runs batted in. The only left-hand batter in the Met batting order tonight against the left-hand pitcher. Cranefield has hit safely in his last 12 games. Over that stretch, he's got 18 for 46. That's a clip of .391. The longest hitting streak of his major league career was 13 games in 1964. Against left-handed pitching this season, Cranefield is 4 for 12. That's a clip of .333. Jackson delivers, and it's in there for a called strike. Jerry Buchek has moved out on deck. Al Jackson reads the sign. Our catcher, Tim McCarver. Pitch is low, down into the dirt, rolling away. Pitch is swung on and popped up foul back at first. Cepeda moves over into the warning track and makes the catch. Cranefield fouls out to first base. For a moment, Cranefield started up the first baseline, bat in hand as though he were going to his position. 2 away. Jerry Buchek, batter now. He's hitting .273. He has 5 home runs and 10 runs batted in. Yogi Berra on the coaching lines at first for the Mets, and Salty Parker is the Mets coach around at third. That's in for a call strike. Fans are still coming in here, and there's plenty of room for you if you're in the neighborhood and are inclined toward baseball. It's a beautiful evening, and there's plenty of room. Strike one pitch. Swung on and hit down the line foul into the right field corner out of play. A two-strike count to Buchek. Time it's Colin McCarver goes out to talk things over with Al Jackson. Two-strike pitch swung on and lined to first, taken by Cepeda for the out that retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left, and the score at the end of an inning is Cardinals nothing and the Mets nothing. Well, if you follow the Mets on radio or on television or here in person at Shea Stadium, you can do it just a little bit better with a copy of the Met Yearbook. There are a great many Met fans who have made a collection of Met Yearbooks since the first was issued on opening day of 1962. That's a good idea because the Met Yearbook contains detailed information about all of the individual players, plus pictures and feature stories about behind-the-scenes activities. This year's yearbook has something a little bit extra. The centerfold is a full squad picture in color that is suitable for framing. So if you'd like a copy of the Met Yearbook, send 65 cents to Met Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, zip code 11368. 50 cents for the yearbook, 15 cents for mailing and handling. That's a total of 65 cents, and the address is Met Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. And the banjo bands are on hand here at Shea Stadium tonight to help enliven these proceedings, and Orlando Cepeda is coming up. Right-hand power hitter, hitting .372 with 5 homers and 21 runs batted in. Facing right-hand pitcher Jack Hamilton, making his first start of the season for the New York Mets. Hamilton now starts to work, and the pitch is high for a ball. There's a swing and a ground ball, and at shortstop is taken deep by Harrelson. The throw to first in fast. Harrelson ranged back to the rim of the outfield grass towards the bag at second. And then sidearmed the ball on to Craneville to get Cepeda. That's one away. Catcher Tim McCarver, left-hand batter, is coming up, hitting .318 with 3 homers and 19 runs batted in. This afternoon in the National League, as perhaps you are aware, the Chicago Cubs swamped the Los Angeles Dodgers 20-3. Kenny Holtzman got his 5th win. He's 5-0, and he's going into the Army on Monday. Bud Osteen was the loser, followed by Joe Moeller, Egan, Lee, homers in the ball game by Phillips Fairley. Ferraro hit 2, Hundley, and Beckert. So the Mets pick up a half game on the Dodgers. Here is a pitch in for a call strike to McCarver. The league-leading Cincinnati Reds chalked up another one. They defeated the Phillies 5-2. Jerry Arrigo got the win in relief of Gary Nolan. Arrigo came on in the 4th inning. He allowed only 1 hit in 6 innings that he worked. Arrigo now 4-0. Here's a swing and a miss, a 2-strike count. You'll recall that Arrigo spent part of last season with the New York Mets. Brad Jackson started and took the loss for the Phillies. Farrell in the 6th, Ramos in the 9th, Ellsworth in the 9th. Pittsburgh Pirates are at Atlanta tonight. Bob Beal for Pittsburgh and Dick Kelly for Atlanta. Here's a pitch high. And the San Francisco Giants are at Houston tonight in a later start. The Detroit Tigers defeated the New York Yankees today 3-1. Denny McClain got the win. Al Downing took the loss. Dick McAuliffe had a homer. Mickey Mantle had a homer for the Yankees, his 7th of this season, his career homer number 503. 1-2 pitch. And it's outside. 2-2. Baltimore Baltimore defeated Washington by a score of 4-3. Dave McNally got the win. Joe Coleman took the loss. Boog Powell had a homer for Baltimore, and Frank Howard had 2 of them for Gil Hodges' Washington Senators. There's a swing and a miss, and Hamilton strikes out McCarver. Second strikeout for Hamilton. 2 away, and Mike Shannon is coming up. The end of 2.5 innings tonight. The Chicago White Sox 3 and the Kansas City A's 2. Tommy John against Catfish Hunter. Minnesota Twins are at California in a later start. And the Cleveland Indians defeated the Boston Red Sox by a score of 5-3. Steve Bailey got the win, and Don McMahon took the loss. Cannon watches low and away for a ball. He's a right-hand batter, hitting .343, 2 home runs and 18 runs batted in. This pitch is in for a called strike, 1-1. 2 men out, nobody on base, and no score in the game here in the top of the second. Pitch is high, 2-1. Our congratulations, of course, to our colleague and co-worker, Art Friedman, who today became the father of a son, and he's passing out the cigars all around the place here tonight. Did you get your cigar out?
I sure did.
It's 2-1 pitch, and it's inside for a ball, 3-1.
I hope he gave one to Jerry Brooks, because the ones that he smokes got to go.
Yes. 3-1 count now to Mike Shannon. And the pitch is hit in the air to right field, and Ron Swoboda is there. Settles underneath, makes the catch, and the side is out. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. In the middle of the second, it's the Cardinals nothing and the Mets nothing.
Armory Garage Albany is celebrating its 5th annual Imperial Week with the largest selection ever of new and used Imperials at unbelievably low prices. Armory's Art Neat invites you to test drive any one of the top condition, late model used Imperials that are ready to go. You can choose from 2- and 4-door sedans, many equipped with the exclusive Imperial extras. Trade up now at Armory and receive top dollar for your present car. Chances are it will more than cover the down payment on a mint condition late model Imperial. Armory's on-the-spot financing assures fast service. You can buy, sign, and pay at Armory, home of 101 time payment plans. You'll be impressed with the prestige and practicality of owning an Imperial from Armory. Now's the time to save on the big comfort, style, and performance during Imperial Week. Drive into Imperial headquarters this week. Armory Garage, Central at Colvin in Albany.
Left fielder, number 12, Tommy Davis. We're going to the bottom half of the second inning, and Tommy Davis is up to lead off for the Mets. He's hitting .314 with 4 homers and 11 runs batted in. And the pitch is in for a called strike. Don Swoboda has moved out on deck. Full curveball, line into right center field, and this one is going to get by all the way to the wall. Extra bases for Tommy Davis. On his way to second, goes in standing with his 8th double of this season. A leadoff 2-bagger for the Mets here in the bottom of the second. The first hit for the Mets off Al Jackson.
Right fielder, number 4, Ron Swoboda.
Tommy Davis just sort of tomahawked that one out to right center for 2 bases. And now Ron Swoboda is coming up. Hitting .245, 1 homer and 4 runs batted in. Right-hand batter facing the left-hand pitcher. No score in this game. Pitch is outside for a ball. Ken Boyer has moved on deck now. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Swung on and lined off the glove of Jackson. He scrambles. Bug will have to go to first, does in time. And Davis moves to third on the play. Now manager Red Chambers comes out to check on his pitcher and see if he's all right. That one was slammed right back to the mound and off the hand of Jackson. He indicates he's all right. Catcher Tim McCarver goes out. Here comes the trainer. They want to check on Al Jackson to see if he sustained any damage. That was a shot that Swoboda sent back to the mound. Knocked down, and then Jackson scrambled over briefly to the first base side to make the play. Bob Bowman, veteran trainer, is checking with Jackson, and apparently he's all right. McCarver's going to come back now behind the plate and have him throw one or two to make sure he's all right. The umpire supervising this operation as well. Here comes a pitch, and Jackson appears to be throwing all right. San Francisco Giants at Houston. We have the warm-ups now. Juan Marichal, after having lost his first 3 starts, has won 6 in a row, and he's going for the Giants. Dave Jaster is going for Houston. He is 0-4. Now Red Chambers leaves the mound. He and trainer Bob Bowman head back to the Cardinals dugout. The Mets have a runner at third base with 1 man out, and Ken Boyer coming up. Boyer, the third baseman of the Mets, celebrating his 36th birthday today. Hitting .208 with 1 run batted in, right-hand batter. For 7 years, he was the field captain of the St. Louis Cardinals. Shannon even with the bag at third. Cepeda even with the bag at first. Maxwell and Javier deep at short and second. The pitch is outside for a ball.
Well, it looks like Red Chambers still respects Ken Boyer because he has his shortstop and second baseman back. He doesn't want to take any chances of giving Boyer a shot at hitting with the infield in this early in the ball game.
No score as yet, and we're in the bottom of the second. Pitch is low. It's 2-0 now to Boyer, and Jerry Grody is waiting on deck. Boyer asked that the ball be inspected, so it's tossed into Tim McCarver. McCarver and John Romano doing the bulk of the catching for the Cardinals this year. Romano, of course, hails from New Jersey. Very proud of the fact that his brother Tony is recently elected to the city council across the river. 2-0 the count here to Boyer. And it's outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Tommy Davis, the runner at third, checks with Coach Salty Parker. Jackson working carefully to Boyer. And here's the 3-0 delivery. Outside. Boyer draws a walk. It wasn't an intentional walk, at least it is not scored as such. It was a very carefully delivered walk, and coming up now is Jerry Grody. As the Cardinals set their defense for 2, there's 1 man out. Tommy Davis, the runner at third, Boyer at first. Grody is hitting 186 with 1 homer and 5 runs batted in. Bud Harrelson moves on deck now. Wynn is ripping the flag out toward right field. Jackson off the stretch. Pitch to the right-hand batter, and it's high for a ball. Ken Jackson reads the sign of catcher Tim McCarver. 1-0 delivery. Swung on and missed. It's 1-1. Defensively, the Cardinals are set up straight away against Jerry Grody. And we're getting a little action now down in the Cardinal bullpen here in the bottom half of the second inning. Nelson Bryles is up and throwing, a right-hander. Here's a pitch high. Al Jackson out there on the mound for the Cardinals makes his home in Huntington, Long Island. Taking a moment now. Looks in for the sign. Met runners lead at first and third. 2-1 delivery, and it's high. So Jackson goes behind 3-1 to Jerry Grody. Last year, Al Jackson won 13 games for the St. Louis Cardinals. He was 13-15. He won 13 games one season for the New York Mets. This will be a 3-1 pitch, but first a throw over to first, not in time. In 1963, Jackson was 13-17 with the Mets. Now this pitch inside low, and the bases are loaded. Grody draws a walk. Jackson has loaded him up for Bud Harrelson, who is a switch hitter, and he'll be batting right against left-hander Al Jackson.
Number 3.
Second consecutive walk issued by Jackson. Harrelson's hitting .224. He has 5 runs batted in. He has 3 doubles and 1 triple. The bases are loaded with 1 away. The Mets batting in the bottom half of the second inning. Davis at third, Boyer at second, Grody at first. Cardinals set their defense, playing Harrelson to go to the opposite field. Shading it toward right. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed at strike 1. Pitcher Jack Hammond moves out on deck now for the Mets. Harrelson looks down to Salty Parker, the sign man at third, to see if anything is on here. There is no score in this game. Strike 1 delivery. Swung on and popped up. Toward third, Shannon moves in near the mound, and he's there, and the infield fly is called. He makes the grab, no advance. 2 away, Hamilton coming up. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Hi, neighbor. At 5:45 a.m., we hope you'll be on hand for the Chanticleer. At 12:15, our theme, Bread, Love, and Dreams, introduces Farm Paper.
Here on WGY, Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Cantor and Bob Murphy at Shea Stadium in New York. Still no score in this game. The Mets have the bases loaded with 2 men out now, and Jack Hamilton's up. He has not been up officially this season. He's a right-hand batter. Al Jackson with the pitch. Swung on and hit deep to left. It's way back there. Going, and it is a grand slam home run for Jack Hamilton over the left field fence. Jack Hamilton really leaned on that one. A home run over the left field fence. It is his first official time at bat this season. His first time up in the 1967 season. He hit a grand slam home run, and the Mets lead by a score of 4-0. Did that ever get this crowd up on their feet? Now Cleon Jones is coming up. And the pitch is in for a called strike. It is the first time this season that any Met has knocked in 4 runs in a game. Here's a pitch. Swung on and missed. Count of 2 strikes. Well, I can tell you this. Pitchers are very proud of their hitting prowess. And associates and roommates of Jack Hammond will be hearing about that for the rest of their lives. And the rest of his. He rooms with Jack Fisher on the road. This will be a 2-strike delivery now to Cleon Jones. And it's in for a call, strike 3. Jackson gets his first strikeout as he caught Cleon looking, but the Mets picked up 4 runs on 2 hits, 2 walks, no errors, and none left. Score at the end of 2 full innings is the Mets 4, the Cardinals nothing.
Another bright idea from the folks who care. Tobin's First Prize Frankfurt Kebabs for your holiday cookout.
For each kebab, quarter 1 first prize Frankfurt and cut 1 slice of first prize sugar-cured bacon into 6 pieces. Have tomato wedges, dill pickle slices, and small boiled onions ready. On skewers, alternate first prize Frankfurt slices with bacon pieces, tomatoes, pickles, and onions. Grill slowly, basting with your favorite barbecue sauce until bacon is done. The Armenians may have invented kebabs, but never anywhere have they tasted better than first prize Frankfurt kebabs. The surefire holiday cookout hit.
The very best meat
The very best meat
makes the very best meal.
makes the very best meal.
So look for the meat
So look for the meat
with the first prize
with
seal.
the first prize seal.
First prize products
From the folks who care.
Tobin's. Delicious.
Well, it's Saturday night at Shea Stadium in New York. The fans are screaming, the fans are playing, and here's Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Lindsay, and that grand slam home run by Jack Hamilton, the second ever hit by a Met pitcher. And I remember the first one back in 1963. Carlton Woolley hit it, and he just got it in right field in the Polo Grounds. So the Mets on the grand slam home run by Jack Hamilton, his first time at bat this year, leading by a score of 4-0. Jack getting set to pitch to the Cardinals here in the third, has retired his first 6 batters. And he'll now pitch to Julian Javier, Dow Maxwell, and Al Jackson. No action in the bullpen for the Cardinals. And the first pitch of fastball, it's high for a ball. Jack has struck out 2. He struck out Kurt Flood in the first, struck out Tim McCarver in the second. Javier batting at 290, takes inside for a ball. Ball 2. Javier with 29 hits so far this year. He's been at bat 100 times, has scored 13 runs, has hit 3 home runs, driven in 8. He has 6 extra base hits, 3 home runs, and 3 doubles. And the 2-0 pitch is high, ball 3, and Hamilton behind 3-0. Jack is really throwing hard tonight. He always has a good fastball, but he's especially fast tonight. He's been throwing some good changeups, too. Now the 3-0 delivery. It's in, a called strike. 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Javier steps out of the batter's box. Now gets back in. And Hamilton back again. And the pitch is outside, ball 4, and that is the first base runner for the Cardinals. No one out, top of the third. It brings up Dow Maxwell.
Dow Maxwell.
Well, Jack Hamilton has been dramatic in a Mets uniform. Last year he was called Hairbreadth Harry, and now he has taken over the hitting side. Javier not being held on by Cranepool at first. And the first pitch is fouled off, a fastball that he had on by Maxwell at strike 1. Cranepool is playing about 2 steps from the bag in back of the base runner. Mets leading 4-0, and they do not figure that the Cardinals will be running. Maxwell batting .253, a right-hand batter. And the 1 strike pitch is taken in for a call, strike 2. So after walking Javier, Hamilton now with 2 quick strikes on the right-hand batter. And at 2 strikes, the pitch is swung on and fouled back. Ball over the top of the screen. The count stays at 0-2. Last season, Tony Cloninger of the Atlanta Braves hit 2 Grand Slam home runs in 1 ball game to become the first National League player to ever do that. Now 2 strikes, the pitch back is low. It's 1-2. That includes pitchers, catchers, outfielders, infielders, what have you. It has been done only 2 times. 1 time in the National League. Jim Gentile did it in the American League. 1-2, and the curve is inside and high, and Maxwell walks away. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jerry Grody, before coming back behind home plate to send out the signs, talking with Hamilton out in front of the plate. 2-2. Top of the third, no one out. Cardinals with a runner at first base. Javier is there. And now Hamilton set for Maxwell. And the pitch, it is in the dirt, dug out by Grody, and the count goes to 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. On deck batter, Al Jackson. No action in the bullpen. The Cardinals trail by 4. Jackson's considered to be a good hitting pitcher. And Hamilton with a 3-2 pitch, the runner going. The pitch is taken high and away. Ball 4. Javier is thrown out, but it won't make any difference. He is safe at second base on the walk. He starts to run off, and Red Changes comes running out of the dugout all the way to the foul line to make sure he doesn't leave the bag. The call of out was given by the second base umpire, Frank Secori. But it came after the ball 4 call was given by the home plate umpire, Ed Vargo. So 2 walks in a row, and now Wes Westrum's running out to the mound. So the second base was in plenty of time on Javier. He was not being held on, but it didn't count. As Maxwell became the second base runner on the walk.
Now, Jackson.
Al Jackson, the batter. Al has been to bat 12 times, had 4 hits. He has driven in 1 run, batting .333. Left-hand batter. Ed Cranepool at first base is way in looking for the bunt. Boyer is in a couple of steps ahead of the bag at third. And Hamilton with the first pitch. It's outside, a fastball, and Jackson was not bunting. He takes it for ball 1. Hamilton, after retiring the first 6 men, now running into difficulty with Wildman. 2 walks in a row, and the 1-0 pitch to Jackson. High, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Ken Boyer over to talk to Hamilton on the mound. So Boyer now back to third. Mets still looking for a possible sacrifice. First 2 pitches, Jackson was not in bunting position. Mets lead 4-0. No one out. Top of the third. The pitch to Jackson is called a strike. 2-1. Jackson taking all the way. Joel Schultz, the third base coach, setting the sign to Al Jackson at the plate. Dick Sisler is the coach at first. Jack looking in for the signs from Jerry Grody. Now he sets up. And the 2-1 delivery is hit on the line over the shortstop's head, a base hit. Taken on 1 hop by Tommy Davis. Javier is coming home. The throw is cut off by Boyer. Javier slides in safely. And holding at second base is Dal Maxwell, and the Cardinals score. Base hit by Al Jackson. His second run batted in. He now has 5 hits and 12 times up. And it brings up Lou Brock. And the Cardinals got something going. Action in the bullpen for the Mets. Well, the pitchers have accounted for all 5 runs in this ball game. Jack Hamilton with a grand slam home run, and Al Jackson with a base hit to drive in a run. Bill Dennehy is warming up in the bullpen for the Mets. Make it Jack LeMay warming up in the bullpen for the Mets now, starting to throw. And the next pitch to the plate is low, and it's ball 1 on Lou Brock. Lou hit the first pitch down to second base his first time up and was out. Batting at .328. Pitch back to Brock is fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brock going. And the next pitch to the plate is low, and it's ball 1 on Lou Brock. Lou hit the first pitch down to second base his first time up and was out. Batting at .328. Pitch back to Brock is fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brock going for a fastball that was outside and fouling the ball over the top of the dugout on the third base side. Now he wants another bat. Maxwell's down at second base. Al Jackson at first. Mets are leading 4-1, but the Cardinals with no one out here in the top of the third. with a run in and runners at first and second. Brock with 7 home runs and 22 runs batted in. A dangerous batter, a left-hand batter. Tremendous power to center field and left field. And at 1-1, Hamilton back, and the pitch is fouled off again. Ball going out of play, and Hamilton again had the fastball by Lou Brock. This time up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. Hamilton tries again. The pitch is bounced out in front of the mound and taken by Jerry Grody. He goes to first base with the throw, taking the ball in fair territory for the play at first base for the out there. And the runners move up. Maxwell goes over to third. No chance to make a play there. The ball bounced out high off the home plate rubber. And Jackson goes down to second. Now with 1 man out, the batter will be Curt Flood. Mets are leading by a score of 4-1. They're playing their infield back at second and short. Also at first base, Boyer just about 2 steps behind the line running between second and third at his third base position. Flood struck out his first time up, going down on a 3-2 fastball. He's batting .303. And now time is called. Jerry Grody going out to the pitcher's mound. Mets got the early lead on a grand slam home run by Jack Hamilton in the bottom half of the second. Cardinals got on the board right here in the third. 2 walks and a base hit. Now Hamilton's ready, and the pitch to Curt Flood is low and inside. It's ball 1. Mets have 2 base hits. The Cardinals have 1. Now the pitch back. Curveball hit down to short. Bud Helton moves to his right, has no play at the plate, but goes to first base in time to retire. Curt Flood for the second out here in the top of the third. Maxwell scored in the play, and Al Jackson held at second. So it's now a 4-2 ball game in favor of the Mets, and it brings up Roger Maris with a runner in scoring position. Roger popped up to Bud Harrelson his first time up, down the left field line, and Harrelson made a great play on it. He fell down in making the catch. Maris batting left-handed, hitting .296, and the pitch is taken low for a ball. Maris with 1 home run and 10 runs batted in. Ron Swoboda took a home run away from him in the first game of the series with a high catch of a ball that was over the wall. Now the next pitch, a changeup low. It's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Mets lead 4-2. 2 men out, top of the third. Maris with the straightaway stance, being played as a pull hitter by the Mets. Next pitch, a curve breaking over, and it's a good pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rogers playing with a broken toe. Has a hairline fracture. Fortunately, it's on his back foot. Now the 2-1 pitch, and it's called strike 2, a fastball over knee high. By having the broken toe on his back foot in the batter's box, he doesn't stand the risk of really hurting himself by fouling the ball off his front foot, where if he had the broken toe there, it would be serious. That happens quite often to a ball player. 2-2, and the pitch. Change up, line to right, a base hit. Jackson goes to third. He's coming in. It's going to be a close play. The throw by Swoboda is up the line and cut off. Jackson scores, but now Maris in the run down. The ball goes to Claypool, now to Buchek. Now to Harrelson, and Harrelson back to Claypool. And now the tag is being made by Buchek. And that retires the side. But in the inning, the St. Louis Cardinals get back in the ball game by scoring 3 runs. The score in the play was 9-5, 6-3, 6-3, 4. 3 runs in on 2 hits, no errors, no one left on base, and a score at the end of 2.5 innings. The Mets 4, the Cardinals 3.
I don't know God Bless America, but I do know My Cat Me Tiffany. my curly tears of the sweet sounds of liberty, of the sea night, of the sea kids, of the sea dwells where my father died, dwells where my parents died, at every mountain sky, little freedom wings. My cousin tears of the sweet sounds of liberty, of the sea night, where my father said, where my parents said.
Your children are learning about America every day. Shouldn't they see it? This year, Discover America.
Well, the Mets had the early lead 4-0 on the grand slam home run by Jack Hamilton in the second, but the Cardinals bounced right back and scored 3 runs in the third. It's now a 4-3 ball game, and the Mets batting in the bottom half of the third. Al Jackson, who drove in a run, first run for the Cardinals, completing his warm-up pitches on the mound. He'll be pitching to his former teammate, Ed Cranepool. Ed fouled out his first time up. He brought a 12-game hitting streak into the ball game. Over that period, he had raised his average on up to where he was leading the club with a .362 average. Cranepool, a left-hand batter. Al Jackson, a left-hand pitcher. Al won the first game ever won by a Met pitcher in New York City. Won it in the Polo Grounds and was a shutout. First game ever won by a Met pitcher, won by Jay Hook in Pittsburgh. Now a bunt try, but foul. Cranepool trying to get on, fouls the ball on a bunt try on the third base side. It's strike one. Al pitched a one-hitter for the Mets against Houston. Gave up a base hit to Joe Malfitano in the first inning and retired all the others without a base hit. He also pitched a one-hitter this year against the same Houston ball club. This time Bob Asomani got the base hit in the 8th inning. Now the left-hander back, and the one-strike pitch is low. 1-1 the count goes. Al also pitched a two-hitter against the Pittsburgh Pirates and had a no-hitter going until it was broken up in the 8th. Willie Stargell got a base hit to left field. Now the 1-1 pitch back, a hard smash to short. It is picked up by Maxwell. He goes to first base, not in time. So Cranepool now has hit in 13 consecutive ball games. That ties his all-time high. Base hit by Eddie Cranepool. A leadoff here in the bottom half of the third. It brings up Jerry Butek. Jerry Butek hit a soft line drive to first base his first time up. Batting .269. That's leading 4-3. No one out, bottom half of the third. Butek, a right-hand batter. Jackson sets, looks at first base, comes to the plate, and the pitch is swung on and missed, strike one. Butek leads the club in home runs with 5. He has driven in 10. Once again, action in the bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals. Nelson Briles throwing for the second time. He was throwing in the second inning when the Mets scored 4 runs. And the one-strike pitch is taken low. It's 1-1. Jackson missing with a sinking fastball. Al's record this year, 3-2. He pitched against the Mets but wasn't involved in the decision, although he was knocked out of the box. Against the Mets, he has 1-1 and lost 3. And at 1-1, the pitch back to Butek is over the inside corner, and it's called strike 2. And on the pitch, Butek was sort of jumping away. He thought the pitch was inside. 1-2. Cranepool being held at first base by Orlando Cepeda. Javier is at second base. Maxwell at short. Shannon at third. Next pitch is swung on and fouled down in the dirt. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tim McCarver's the catcher in the game. Lou Brock in left field, back about on the warning track in left field, a very deep left field. Kurt Flood, who normally plays a very shallow center field, is playing extremely deep against Buchek. Roger Maris shaded over near the line and right. He's also deep. Buchek had never hit more than 4 home runs in one season. Did that last year. Now he grounds the next pitch foul. This time on the third base side, the count again stays at 1-2. Jerry Buchek. He became the first player involved in a deal that was consummated by Stan Musial. Coming to the Mets for Eddie Basu. Now the sign's going out. Jackson set. And the 1-2 pitch again, and this time it's inside. Buchek has to spin away. It's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mets leading 4-3 with no one out, bottom half of the third. Playing the second game of this 3-game series. Tomorrow, a single game on Sunday. Game time will be at 2 o'clock. And the 2-2 delivery. Curveball bounces short. A ready-made double play. Maxwell over to the second baseman, Javier. His throw on the first base is in time for the double play. So Jackson picks up his first double play, getting Buchek to ground into it. That'll bring up Tommy Davis.
Number 12.
Tommy doubled to right center and scored the first run for the Mets ahead of the grand slam home run by Jack Hamilton. Tommy with 8 doubles so far this year, batting .320 with 4 home runs, 11 runs batted in. The double came off a curveball, and it was the right center field. And Jackson's first pitch is down the right field line. Roger Maris has a long run to go in the corner. He gets to it and falls down after making the catch. A great play by Roger Maris right in the right field corner. That retires the side. And Roger Maris gets a hand as he comes on back in. He is not hurt, at least apparently so, as he trots in. He might have scuffed up his hands a little bit as he tried to brace himself after he fell on the warning track. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a double play, no one left on base, and the score at the end of 3, the Mets 4, the Cardinals 3.
The Los Angeles Dodgers will be coming in here Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then the Atlanta Braves will be in next Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader next Sunday. And you can get tickets for all home games of the Mets at a wide variety of convenient ticket locations. The advanced ticket window here at Shea Stadium is open 7 days a week. It's open 8 to 6 on weekdays and 9 to 5 on Saturdays and Sundays. In Manhattan, there is a Met ticket office at Grand Central Station at the foot of the 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue ramp. Open weekdays 8 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 to 4. There's a Met ticket office at Macy's at 34th Street and 7th Avenue. It's on the main floor. And also at Macy's in Huntington, Long Island at the Walt Whitman Shopping Center. Both locations are open during regular store hours. In addition, reservations for box and reserve seats may be made at all Howard Clothes stores during regular store hours. And also, be sure to add 25 cents to each order to cover mailing costs. Once again, Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Lindsey Nelson, top of the 4th inning. Orlando Cepeda will lead off for the Cardinals. The Mets are leading 4-3, and Jack Hamilton with his first pitch in the 4th. And the pitch is fouled over the top of the screen, strike 1. Cepeda grounded down to the shortstop, Bud Harrelson, his first time up in the ballgame. Bud made a good play, throwing him out at first base. Orlando batting .368. Hamilton back, and the pitch is deep to right center field. Going way back is LaPola. Going, it is gone goodbye. Cepeda with a long home run to right center field over the .371 mark, and the ball game is tied up. It was Cepeda's 6th home run this year, his 42nd run batted in. And this ball game has seen all kinds of action. Once again, Jack LeMay gets ready in the bullpen.
Jaster.
Last year, Cepeda had a total of 20 home runs. He has 249 in his major league career. That'll bring up Tim McCarver, and the first pitch to Tim is high and away, ball 1. All the Mets at one time had a 4-0 lead as a result of Jack Hamilton's hitting the grand slam home run. Now the Cardinals are back in the ball game, all tied up, scoring 3 runs in the third on 2 hits, and 1 run here in the fourth with no one out on a home run. Next pitch to McCarver is outside again. It's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. McCarver struck out his first time up. 1 of 2 struck out by Hamilton. He's batting .315. Led the major leagues in free base hits last year with 13. This year he has 3 already. A swing and a foul tip held on to by Jerry Grody. The count 2-1. Hamilton at 2-1, and McCarver takes it over the outside corner. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Cannon, the on-deck batter. And Hamilton tries again. And the pitch is fouled off. Ball going out of play over the top of the backstop, high in the air. 2-2. Now remaining all even as Jack Hamilton pitches to Tim McCarver. Tim has 3 home runs this year, and he has driven in 19. And once again, the 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3, and Hamilton has the count full. Cardinals came into this ball game with a team batting average of .280. Their team home run total, a total of 23. They have a strong hitting ball club. 3-2, and Jack Hamilton comes back again. And the pitcher is looped in the right field, a base hit. Rod Cepeda comes over to take it on 1 hop. McCarver, a fast-running catcher, rounds at first base and holds there. Here comes Wes Westrom to the mound. Cardinals getting their 4th base hit. Ball game is tied up at 4-4, and that's going to be all for Jack Hamilton. Jack making his first start after 42 consecutive relief appearances that go back into last year. His best game ever in the major leagues against the St. Louis Cardinals, a 1-hitter that he pitched last year. The only base hit was a bunt by Ray Sadecki, and Jack LeMahieu is coming in the ball game. Well, Dave making his 5th appearance. He has no record, no wins, no losses. He has appeared 4 times previously, twice against Cincinnati, once against San Francisco, and once against St. Louis at St. Louis. In the ball game against the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis, he went 4 1/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, allowed 3 runs. Totally, he has pitched a total of 8 innings, allowing 8 base hits. So while we wait for Jack Hamilton to go off the mound, and he'll get a big hand for his Grand Slam home run in the second that gave the Mets their 4 runs off Al Jackson. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Cincinnati beat the Phillies 5-2 today. The winning pitcher was Arrigo. He pitched 6 innings, allowed 1 hit in relief to pick up the win. His record now 4-0. Losing pitcher was Grant Jackson, who started the ball game for the Philadelphia Phillies. Here's Hamilton getting the hand as he goes off the field. The Cubs pounded out 20 runs on 14 hits to defeat the Dodgers 20-3. The winning pitcher was Holtzman. His record 5-0. The losing pitcher was Osteen. Phillips Bailey. Pereira had 2 home runs. Hundley and Beckert had home runs. Beckert inside the park. At the end of 2.5 innings, Pittsburgh nothing, Atlanta nothing. Bob Beal against Kelly. At the end of 2, the Giants won, Houston nothing. Marichal, who has won 6 in a row, he's lost 3. Pitching against Dave Justy, who has no wins against 4 losses. Brown a home run in the second with no one on for the San Francisco Giants. In the American League, Detroit beat the Yankees 3-1. McLean, the winning pitcher, a 7-hitter. The losing pitcher was Al Downing. McCullough hit his 5th home run of the season. Mantle his 7th, and now Mantle with 503 total home runs in his major league career. Cleveland beat Boston 5-3. The winning pitcher was Steve Bailey, who relieved in the 8th inning. The losing pitcher was McMahon. Askew hitting that home run. Baltimore topped Washington 4-3. Winning pitcher in that ball game, McNally. The losing pitcher was Coleman. Powell had a home run in the 6th with 2 men on. The big blow of the ball game. Howard had one in the 6th and the 7th. At the end of 4.5 innings, Kansas City 6, Chicago 3. Howard now pitching for the White Sox. Tommy John started. Lindblad pitching for Kansas City. Hunter started. And also scheduled Minnesota against the Angels in California. So a lot of baseball action. And right here, the action fast and furious. The score tied 4-4. No one out. Top of the fourth. The Cardinals with Tim McCarver on at first base. And the batter is Mike Shannon. Jack LeMahieu now pitching in place of Jack Hamilton. Jack going 3 innings, allowing 4 runs and 4 hits. He struck out 2 batters, walked 2. First pitch, a curveball over the outside corner, strike. And on the pitch, Shannon was scoring around. LeMahieu, a right-hander from Springfield, Massachusetts, working on his masters. And the 1-strike delivery. Fastball just off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. And this time, Shannon was not in bunting position. LeMahieu, originally signed with the Philadelphia Phillies, was released on a technicality and then hooked on with the Pittsburgh Pirates. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch is swung on and missed. 1-2. He went from the Pirates to the Red Sox. From the Red Sox to the Houston Astros. From the Astros to the Chicago White Sox. And from the White Sox to the Mets. Mets picked him up this year on a cash purchase. 1-2 with no one out. Top of the fourth. The score tied 4-4. McCarver draws a soft throw. No tag by Cranepool. Now LeMahieu again in the set position, again to first base, again no tag. Covered with a very short lead, getting back easily. Shannon batting .337, and the pitch to him is swung on and missed, strike 3. So LeMahieu picks up a strikeout, pitching to his first batter, and we'll pause now for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is Jerry Ducey reminding you that the best things happen from 1 till 3 on the Jerry Ducey Show here on the big bright sound of WGY Schenectady.
Ralph Kiner along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy from Shea Stadium. A 4-4 ball game. 1 man out, top of the fourth. The Cardinals with the runner at first base. And Julian Javier is the batter. Julian walked his first time up. Scored the first Cardinal run on the base hit by Al Jackson. Javier batting .290. Right-hand batter in the first pitch. Change curveball, low and away, it's ball 1. Tim McCarver at first base. His base hit, knocking Jack Hamilton out of the box. Only 7 hits in this game, 8 runs scored. 2 home runs, one by Jack Hamilton with the bases loaded, one by Orlando Cepeda. Javier out of the batter's box, now back in. LeMahieu checking out the sign. And the right-hander sets up. The pitch is over. A fastball over the outside part of the plate above the knees, 1-1. Breeze is picking up now, blowing in from left field. This is the best of all the nights we've had here at Shea Stadium this year, and a good crowd on hand. It's date night. All the guys with their dates only having to pay 50 cents for the girls. Throw to first base again, just a calling card throw. No action on it. McCarver still with a short lead. Now the 1-1 delivery. Curve line to right center. A base hit. McCarver will get to third. He rounds at second base and goes on there. The throw by Cleon Jones comes into second base. And Javier holds up at first. So the Cardinals keep it going. Runners at first and third with 1 man out. And their batter will be Dow Maxville. Maxville also walked his first time up and scored a run. His average, .253. Brody was out to the pitcher's mound to talk to LeMahieu, but now he comes back behind home plate. One away, top of the fourth. The Mets are playing their infield back at short and second base. Boyer even with the bag at third. Kranepool holding against the very fast runner at first. And the first pitch is popped up in the infield. Jerry Grody in foul territory. Boyer in foul territory. And Boyer makes the call and the catch for the second out. So the Mets get a big out as they get Maxville on one pitch. And now the batter will be Al Jackson. Al singled to left field and drove in a run his first time up. His second run batted in this year, and he's now batting at .385 with 5 hits in 13 times up. Tie ball game, 4-4, and the Cardinals with runners at first and third, 2 men out, top of the fourth. Jackson being played straight away. He's a left-hand batter. Outfield is not deep. Got a bird flying around inside the ballpark. And the first pitch is strike one. It's easy to pick it out. It looks like a white seagull. And with the lights here at Shea, it really stands out. Came right down over the infield. Thinking a couple of Bond drives down. A hard swing and a miss. Strike two as LeMay gets a fastball by up out of the strike zone. Boyer guarding against a possible bunt for a base hit at third. He's in ahead of the bag at third base. 2-strike count, and now LeMay back again. The pitch is swung on and fouled back. Fastball again, up around the letters. And on the pitch, Jerry Grody had moved out as though he were looking for a pitch out. And Eddie Kranepool, who was off of the bag at first, was back to the bag. So maybe a sign miss. Count remains at strike two. Wouldn't have made much difference. Javier was not off of the bag at first. He could not have picked him off. Now a throw to first base, and Javier, who was moving toward second, had to crawl back in. Got to watch him. He's a good base runner. He's had 4 stolen bases this year in 7 attempts. 2-strike count. Again a throw to first, but this time he gets back in standing up with no tag. LeMay working with runners at first and third. 2-strike count on Al Jackson. And now the right-hander sets again. The runner's going. The pitch, a curveball, swung on and missed. Strike three, and Everett towers aside. So LeMay coming in to do the job as a fireman, getting the side out in the top of the fourth. 1 run on 2 hits off Jack Hamilton. 1 hit off LeMay for a total of 3. No errors and 2 men left on. And the score at the end of 3 1/2 innings, the Cardinals 4, the Mets 4.
Omri Garage proudly announces the arrival of its 5th annual Imperial Week. Stop in at the corner of Central and Colvin in Albany and see the full Imperial line. Treat yourself to a test drive and experience the quiet ride, the elegant interiors, and the luxurious extras that are standard equipment on these beauties. Let the Armory salesman show you how you can own an Imperial for far less than you expect. Armory's volume is one reason why they can put you behind the wheel of the newest luxury car in a decade at the lowest possible price. Used car sales are up, and Armory will give you top trade on your present car. Another reason why smart car buyers check Armory first. Learn how you can buy, sign, and pay at Armory, where terms are tailored to suit your budget. Or learn how you can lease a new Imperial at Armory. Isn't it time to experience the luxury, the prestige of a precision-built automobile? Stop in at Armory Garage, Central at Colvin, Albany, during Imperial Week for the best buy on Imperial 67, the newest prestige car in a decade.
Bottom half of the fourth inning, the score tied 4-4. The Mets got off to a 4-run lead and a grand slam home run by starting pitcher Jack Hamilton. Cardinals came back to tie it up with 3 runs in the third and a run in the fourth. Final run coming on a home run by Orlando Cepeda. Ron Swoboda will lead off for the Mets here in the fourth. Ron was out back to the mound his first time up, but that's not the whole story. He almost took Al Jackson in the center field with it. Al made a great play on it to knock it down, and then scrambled to pick it up and threw him out. For a moment, it looked like Al might be out of the ball game. And the first pitch this time to Swoboda's inside a ball. Ron batting .241 with 1 home run and 4 runs batted in. It'll be runs for Boda, Ken Boyer, and Jerry Grody against Al Jackson. Al has given up 4 runs, allowed 3 hits. Pitch back, a hard swing and a miss with a fastball over the outside part of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the message board, the sign out saying pro tennis tourney at the Garden, June 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th with Labor and Rosewall. Now a swing and a ground ball foul, 1-2. Semis and finals will be at 7:30 on the 9th and 10th. Runs for both of the batter. And now Jackson tries back again, and the pitch is a curve breaking down too low and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ron has had 13 hits and 54 times up this year. He has scored 8 runs. He's hit 3 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run. And Jackson at 2-2, and the pitch is swung on and foul over by the St. Louis Cardinals dugout. So the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cincinnati defeated Philadelphia 5-2 today. The Cubs beat the Dodgers 20-3. 2 games still going. Pittsburgh at Atlanta. No score after 3. San Francisco at Houston. It's 1-0 San Francisco after 3. Now the next pitch outside, and it's ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Detroit beat the Yankees 3-1. Cleveland beat Boston 5-3. Baltimore beat Washington 4-3. And after 6, Kansas City 7, the White Sox 3. And the next pitch is low, and it's ball 4. And the Mets have the go-ahead run at first base with no one out here in the bottom half of the 4th. That'll bring up Ken Boyer, who is 36 years old today. And with that, action again in the bullpen for the Cardinals. Once again, Nelson Brow starting to throw in the bullpen. He has been up 3 times. 1 time in the 2nd, 1 time in the 3rd, and now again here in the 4th. And the first pitch to Boyer is a foul tip into the glove, strike 1. That walk given up by Jackson, his 3rd in this ball game. The other 2 cost him 2 runs. They came ahead of a grand slam home run by Jack Hamilton. 2nd hit in the history of the Mets by a pitcher. Carl Woolley hit the first one. Ground ball by the third baseman in the left field, a base hit. Ron Cepeda goes to second base and holds there, and Boyer's on with a base hit. So Ken celebrates his 36th birthday with a base hit. And the Mets have runners at first and second with no one out, and Jerry Grody up. And Red Jamesy's coming out from the dugout out to the pitcher's mound. That's getting their 4th base hit. They had 2 in the 2nd when they scored 4 runs. A double by Tommy Davis, a grand slam home run by Jack Hamilton. They had 1 hit in the 3rd when Eddie Kranepool kept his hitting streak going. He has hit in 13 consecutive ball games. And now they're 4th here in the 4th, and that knocks Al Jackson out of the box for the 2nd time this year, as far as the Mets are concerned. And Nelson Briles is coming in the ball game, a right-hander. Al Jackson closing his book, pitching 3 full innings, being charged with 4 runs, 4 hits. He struck out 1 batter and walked 3. And Al Jackson going out the same way as Jack Hamilton after 3 full innings of work and with 4 runs against him. So the ball game is still up for grabs. The runners at first and second will be his responsibility as Nelson Briles comes in. And let's check the details on those scores we just gave you.
All right, Ralph, in the National League this afternoon, the Cincinnati Reds 5-2 over the Philadelphia Phillies, and young Gary Nolan started for the Cincinnati Reds, but he was relieved by Jerry Arrigo in the 4th inning. And Arrigo allowed only 1 hit in the remaining 6 innings, got credit for the victory. He has now a record of 4 wins and no losses. Jerry Arrigo, who last year came from the Reds to the Mets and went back to the Reds. Grant Jackson started and took the loss for the Phils. Dick Farrell in the 6th, Pedro Ramos in the 9th, and Dick Ellsworth in the 9th. And the Chicago Cubs rolled over the Los Angeles Dodgers at Wrigley Field by a score of 20-3. Kenny Holtzman went all the way to get the win. He has won 5 and lost none, and he goes into the Army on Monday. Claude Osteen started and took the loss for the Dodgers. He is 5-3 now. Joe Moore in the third, Dick Egan in the fourth, and Lee in the sixth. Dalpo Phillips homered in the second with 2 on. Ron Fairley homered in the fourth with none on. Al Ferrara had 2 home runs, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the sixth. Both coming with nobody on base. Randy Hundley had a grand slammer, and Glenn Beckert had a home run in the eighth with nobody on. Tonight in Atlanta, at the end of 3.5 innings, the Pittsburgh Pirates won, the Atlanta Braves nothing. Bob Thiel over Dick Kelly. Roberto Clemente hit the home run to put the Pirates ahead. And at the end of 3 innings tonight, the Giants won Houston nothing. Juan Marichal against Dave Justice. Ollie Brown homered in the second with nobody on for the Giants. Over in the American League, the Detroit Tigers today beat the Yankees 3-1. Denny McClain all the way for the win. Al Downing took the loss. Mickey Mantle hit the 7th home run of the season and the 503rd of his career. Dick McAuliffe homered for Detroit, his 5th. Cleveland beat Boston 5-3. Steve Bailey over Don McMahon. Jose Askew and Chuck Hinton had homers. Hinton's coming with a man on in the 10th inning to give Cleveland the victory. Baltimore beat Washington 4-3. Dave McNally over Joe Coleman. Boog Powell had a homer and Frank Howard had 2. At the end of 6 innings, Kansas City is leading Chicago 5-3, and Minnesota plays California tonight on the coast in a later start. But we're set to go here, and once again, Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Lindsey Nelson and Nelson Browse. Set to go against Jerry Grody. Runners at first and second, no one out. The score tied 4-4, and the Cardinals looking for Grody to bunt. The on-deck batter for the Mets will be Bud Harrelson. Browse, the right-hander, 5'11", 195 pounds. His record this year, 1 win, no losses. This is his 12th appearance. And the first pitch to Grody is bunted perfectly down to third. He might beat it out. And the ball is bubbled by Shannon. It's going to be scored, an error against Mike Shannon and a sacrifice, but I doubt very much if he could have thrown him out at first. It was that good a bunt. The runners move up. The Mets have the bases loaded with Bud Harrelson scheduled up. He has been called back, and we might have a pinch hitter. Bunt was down to third base, and Shannon, who had to wait for a second to see whether or not the ball would come to him or the pitcher would field it, finally had to make his mind up. He came in, and in trying to hurry the play, he couldn't find the handle. Now we're going to have a pinch hitter, Bob Johnson, batting for shortstop Bud Harrelson. Bud had fouled out his first time up in the ball game with the bases loaded. And so right here with the score at 4-4, Bob Johnson is coming in to pinch hit for Bud Harrelson. Johnson, a right-hand batter, hitting .333. He has driven in 3 runs, and he has hit well against the St. Louis Cardinals. He got his first hit, a 2-base hit against the Cardinals. They're playing their infield back at short and second base. Orlando Cepeda is in ahead of the runner at first. And now Nelson Browse with the first pitch is hit off the hands, foul. Foul ball and strike 1. Browse sets again. Bases loaded. He's in the set position. The curveball is too low. 1-1. Last year, Nelson Browse pitched some good ball as far as his ERA was concerned, but he had a record of 4-15 in 49 ball games. This year, 1-0. He's working from the stretch to guard against a possible squeeze. And now the 1-1 delivery. Curve up too high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Mets have their bullpen going. Pitcher's the on-deck batter. And Browse again from the stretch position, and the ball is fouled off. It's 2-2. Bill Dennehy throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. 4-4 ball game, no one out. Bottom half of the fourth, the bases loaded for the Mets. The count 2 balls on 2 strikes on pinch hitter Bob Johnson. Riles shakes his head very severely on the first set of signs. Now goes Yes. He's set. And the pitch. It is hit out to right field. Shallow right. Roger Maris charging in. He's there. And Roger makes the catch. Swoboda comes down the line and holds up as Maris fires the ball in. Cepeda cuts it off, and Swoboda has to dive back into third. There was no throw made. So the runners stay at their bases. Swoboda hustling down the line, hoping that he might be able to go, but then seeing that he couldn't when Maris made that strong throw in. It was right on line, cut off by Cepeda. He had no chance. And the Cardinals get their first out. The pitcher is due up, Jack LeMay, but he has gone back from the hitting circle, and it looks like the Mets are going for a pinch hitter. Bases still loaded, 1 man away, bottom half of the fourth, and Al Luplow is now coming out. Cardinals have Hal Wodachek in the bullpen throwing a left-hander. And Red Staindies comes out now to the pitcher's mound. So Luplow is in the game officially. McCarver, Staindies, and Nelson Briles talking at the pitching mound. Wodachek has been throwing. He's warm. But Red is going to let the right-hand pitcher pitch to Al Luplow, a left-hand batter. Luplow batting .215. He had a home run in last night's ball game against Bob Gibson. It was his third this year. Ron Swoboda at third base, Ken Boyer at second base. Jerry Grody at first, 1 away. Riles again from the set position. Not taking a windup with the bases loaded. And the pitch to Luplow is a curve over, a called strike. Ball breaking over the inside part of the plate just about waist high. After Al Luplow, the scheduled batter will be Cleon Jones. 1 strike count. Riles again set. And the pitch. Fastball high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. This ball game has seen just about everything. Mets had a 4-0 lead. Then it was cut to 4-3, and then evened out at 4-4. Now the Mets have a chance to go out in front. Bases loaded. Riles sets up. And the pitch to Luplow is popped up in foul territory. It's going back and out of play. Ball going in the stands about 15 rows up, and the count goes to 1-2. Bill Dennehy throwing in the bullpen for the Mets will be their next pitcher. Luplow batting for Jack LeMay. Jack worked to 4 batters. Gave up a base hit, allowed no runs. Struck out 2. 1-2, and Riles sets again. Here's the pitch to Luplow, and it popped up in foul territory again back by the Mets dugout, and again it is going out of play in just about the same area. So Luplow falls a strike, and the count remains 1-2. Ball put in play, and Nelson Briles rubs the shine off of it. Cardinals playing their infield back with 1 man out at first, second, and short. Cardinals playing their infield back with 1 man out at first, second, and short. Looking for 2. And again, it's Briles. And back to the throw. And a curve. And Bryant with a sharp breaking ball over the inside corner, just above the knees, picks up a strikeout. Now 2 men out, and the batter will be Cleon Jones. Cleon is 0 for 2. Has an average of 125. He's driven in 3 runs this year. He's had 9 hits and 72 times up. Infield back all the way around. 2 men away, bottom half of the 4th. A walk, a single, and an error loaded up the bases, but a fly ball to shallow right and a strikeout has given the Cardinals 2 out. Now a ground ball bounced by. First baseman in foul territory, strike 1. Wiles called in with Ron Swoboda on at second base and Ken Boyer at first. A walk and a single. A good bunt by Jerry Grody and an error by the third baseman on a questionable play. Loaded up the bases, but then Wiles got Bob Johnson to fly out to shallow right field. He then struck out Al Luplo on a great curve. Now has 1 strike on Cleon Jones. And the next delivery is high, a ball. 1-1. Cleon has had 1 home run this year. 1 2-base hit. He led all the Met batters in spring training. Batting right at .385. Now at 1-1. Riles sets up, still in the set position, and the pitch back is popped up. Orlando Cepeda coming down the line in foul territory. He is under the ball. He makes the catch, and that retires aside, and Nelson Riles, with a great job of relief pitching, keeps the Mets at bay. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 walk, and 3 men left on, and the score at the end of 4, the Mets 4, the Cardinals 4. And now, once again, here's Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Ralph, and first we're going to step out for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Driving to work in the morning or coming home at night, join me, Bill Edwardson, 7 to 10 a.m., 3 to 6 p.m. on the Big Bright Sound, here on WGY, Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Conner and Bob Murphy here at Shea Stadium in New York. And we'd like to remind you that a big, big night will be Saturday night, July 8th here, the annual Old Timers Night. And this year, the Old Timers Night will be staged as a tribute to former Met President George Weiss. The theme will be the 1960 Yankees, representing Weiss's American League valedictory, and the 1962 Mets, representing his first National League entry. And in keeping, a number of outstanding personalities who have been connected with George Weiss will be invited. Joe DiMaggio, Casey Stengel, Joe McCarthy, Charlie Keller, Bill Dickey, and the latest 2 entries into the Hall of Fame, Red Ruffing, Lloyd Wainer. The 1960 array of Yankees included the likes of Yogi Berra, Bobby Richardson, Gil McDougall, Bobby Schatz, Bob Turley, Ryan Duran, Ed Lopez. And the 1962 Mets included the likes of Marv Throneberry, Rod Chenille, Gil Hodges, Frank Thomas, Charlie Neal, Jay Hook, Don Zimmer, and even Ed Craneville. The game will precede the regularly scheduled game of that night, the Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Last year, Old Timers Night attracted a Shea attendance of 50,306, so get your tickets early. Saturday night, July 8th, tickets are now on sale. Bob Johnson stays in the ballgame at shortstop now. He is batting number 8. Al Luplo stays in the ballgame and plays center field. He's batting number 9. Bill Denny, he comes in to do the pitching, and he bats leadoff in place of Cleon Jones, who comes out of the ballgame. Up to leadoff for the Cardinals, Lou Brock, the leadoff man in the batting order. Bill Denny, he's making his 5th appearance, his first in relief. He's 0-4, and this is his first Major League season. Pitch is outside for a ball. Lou Brock, nothing for 2, been up twice, grounded out both times. Now swinging a ground ball to second. A big hop up to Buchek, and he plays it on now to Craneville. One away for the Cards, batting on the top half of the fifth. Jack LeMay pitched an inning in which he allowed no runs, 1 hit. He struck out 2 and he walked none. Pitchers of record are the pitchers in the ball game right now with the score tied 4-4. Kurt Flood, a right-hand batter, and the pitch is low and away for a ball. Bill Dennehy takes the sign from Jerry Grody, and the pitch is in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Roger Maris on deck for the St. Louis Cardinals. Mets had a 4-run lead on Jack Hamilton's grand slam homer, but the Cards got 3 in the third and 1 in the fourth to tie it. Here's a ground ball up the middle, and Johnson ranges over upward and plays the first in time for the out. Bob Johnson with a flashy fielding play, ranging far to his left, gloved the ball, and in full flight flew on the crane pull for the out. And now Roger Maris is coming up. You know, the month of May is Be Nice to Your Favorite Bartender month, so why don't you buy lots of wine gold from him during National Tavern Month? Maris is 1 for 2. Pitches in for a called strike. Drove in a run with a single to right in the third, then took the wide turn, and when the third of the plate was cut off, he was caught in a rundown. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes now to Roger Maris. Connecticut. Bill Dennehy bearing down in relief for the Mets. Mets have the defense pulled around toward right, playing Roger Maris to pull the ball. Here's a breaking pitch low, and it's 1-2. Orlando Cepeda is waiting on deck. Here's a 1-2 offering, and it's low, so the count's even at 2-2 now to Maris. The second game of a 3-game series between the Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals. Final game comes tomorrow afternoon. Game time is 2 p.m. Here's a breaking pitch hit on the ground, foul back at first. Dick Sisler, the Cardinal coach at first, knocked it down. Now picks it up. A beautiful baseball night at Shea Stadium. Maris settling himself back into the batter's box. He looks in to take the sign from Grody. And the 2-2 delivery. Swung on and foul back. A group of fans came in tonight with New York Yankee buttons on their clothing, and we were talking to a few of them who said that they came over specifically to see Roger Maris perform. Part of the Roger Maris fan club. Here's a 2-2 pitch, and it's high, and the count is full at 3-2. Bill Dennehy getting set for a payoff pitch to Maris. And it's on the way. Hit high into the air to left field. Tommy Davis goes back to the edge of the warning track, sets up, waits, and makes the catch. So start is out in order. No runs, no hits, no run left. Score in the middle of the fifth is Cardinals 4, the Mets 4. Say, why don't you be different? Most people buy 6-packs of beer. Why don't you buy a 6-pack of beer mugs? Nice, cold glass beer mugs. Filled with nice, cold Rheingold. We call it the Chug-a-Mug, which is a fancy way of saying beer by the glass to go. Just the thing for the ball game or the lake or when you're settled down in front of your TV set. All you have to do is pull the tab on the cap, toss down a nice, cold glass of Rheingold, and toss away the mug. There's no deposit. Look for the special Chug-a-Mug display at your local stores in New York and New Jersey. Rheingold Chug-a-Mug, the only beer that comes in a mug you don't have to wash.
You've got to be good or the parade will pass you by. There are 302 beers tooting their horns in this town, and Rheingold is the leader. Rheingold. In this town, either you have it or you don't.
Ed Cranepool up for the Mets. He kept his consecutive game hitting streak alive at 13 with a base hit in the bottom of the third. He's 1 for 2 tonight. And he's hitting .366 for the season. Left-hand batter facing right-hand pitcher Nelson Briles, working in relief of Al Jackson for the St. Louis Cardinals. And the breaking pitch is hit high into the air into left center. Kurt Flood comes over. Brock's there, too. Who's going to take it? All right, Flood takes it. But Brock just at his elbow, and there's one away. Jerry Buchek's the batter. I am not the first and hit into a double play so far tonight. Al Jackson, who started for the Cardinals, cannot be the winner or loser. He worked 3 innings and faced 2 men in the fourth, charged with 4 runs on 4 hits, struck out 1, walked 3. And Briles came on to put out fire. Mets had the bases loaded with nobody out and did not score in the bottom of the fourth. There's a fastball in there for a called strike. Tommy Davis is waiting on deck for the Mets. Strike 1 pitch. Foul back into the seats and out of play. Lou Brock plays a deep left field with Buchek up there. Nelson Briles looks into Tim McCarver for a sign. Gets it, and here's a 2-strike delivery. Missing outside. It's 1-2. Tomorrow, Ray Washburn for the St. Louis Cardinals against Don Cardwell of the New York Mets. And then Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night, the Los Angeles Dodgers are here. Breaking pitch, hit on the ground, fair ball inside the bag. It's cleared and on down into the left field corner. Buchek rounds first. He's digging for second, and he is in there standing with a double. As Brock comes up with the ball, his throw comes to third for Buchek, his first double of the season. Coming with 1 man out here, score tied in the bottom half of the fifth. He slammed that one between third baseman Mike Shannon and the bag. Ken Burkhart, the umpire at third, had a little bit of trouble getting to sign base property because he was getting out of the way of the ball and had to turn his body around completely to indicate fair ball. McCarver calls time, goes to the mound for a word with Briles. Now he's coming back. Tommy Davis. Here's the batter. He doubled and later scored in the second inning. Right out to right field in the third. Davis is batting .317 for the Mets. Buchek leads at second. Briles working off the stretch here. Checks the runner. Here's a pitch to the right-hand batter, and it's low for a ball. Cardinals 4 runs on 5 hits. The Mets 4 runs on 5 hits. This will be a 1-0 delivery. And it's right in there for a called strike. 1-1 to Tommy Davis with Ron Swoboda waiting around on deck. Now again, Briles set. Checks the runner and deals the pitch. It's a little low, and it's 2-1 to Davis. He hits cleanup in manager Wes Weston's Met batting order. This will be a 2-1 offering. 2-2. Davis chased one. Tommy Davis outside the batter's box now takes a little stroll around. Now comes back in. Cardinals defensively play Davis to go to the opposite field. The big gap is between Flood and Brock. This will be a 2-2 delivery. In there for a call, strike three. Browse caught Tommy Davis looking. Second strikeout for Browse. Second out of the inning for the Mets. Buchek holds at second, and Ron Swoboda comes up. Nothing for one and a walk tonight. But in the second inning, he slammed a line shot right back to Hal Jackson, who was protecting himself more than anything else when he knocked it down. Then he scrambled to the ball and threw Swoboda out at first base. Cardinals play the same defensive setup on Swoboda that they did on Tommy Davis. Shading him a little toward right. Pitch is inside for a ball. That's with Nelson Browse in there. Figure that they won't be getting around too well on him. Buchek at second with 2 men out. Score tied 4-4. Browse 1-0 pitch. Swung on and hit on the guy towards second, and it hits the umpire at second base. It is in play, and now hung out between third and home is Buchek, and he is tagged out at the plate. It's a base hit for Swoboda as the ball hit umpire Frank Sikori. It is in play, a base hit for Swoboda, and then Buchek went out at the plate. He went out 6-5-2. And so the side is retired. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. And the score at the end of 5 full innings is Cardinals 4 and the Mets 4. And now
Armory Garage Albany is celebrating its 5th annual Imperial Week with the largest selection ever of new and used Imperials at unbelievably low prices. Armory's Art Neat invites you to test drive any one of the top condition, late model used Imperials that are ready to go. You can choose from 2- and 4-door sedans, many equipped with the exclusive Imperial extras. Trade up now at Armory and receive top dollar for your present car. Chances are it will more than cover the down payment on a mint condition, late model Imperial. Armory's on-the-spot financing assures fast service. You can buy, sign, and pay at Armory, home of 101 time payment plans. You'll be impressed with the prestige and practicality of owning an Imperial from Armory. Now's the time to save on the big comfort, style, and performance during Imperial Week. Drive into Imperial headquarters this week. Armory Garage, Central at Colburn in Albany.
after much consultation, the umpires are ordering the Cardinals back onto the field on the interpretation of the rule that as the ball hit the umpire, it was dead at that point and not in play. It is a base hit for Luplow, but the ball at that point was dead, and Buchek has to go back to second. So the Mets have runners at first and second. Kane Neitz has been protesting. Schultz has been protesting. Sisler has been protesting. But the Cardinals have been ordered back onto the field. The ball was dead. No advance possible. And now Wes Westrom goes over to talk also to the umpires. Buchek is ordered back to second. Swoboda's on at first. So it is a base hit. The ball is dead. Under ruling 10-5, Section E on base hit, when a fair ball which has not been touched by a fielder touches a runner or an umpire, a base hit shall be scored. Well, that's a scoring rule, and it is a base hit, but the ball also is dead. Buchek could not advance because the ball was dead. So now it is Boyer up, 2 men out, 2 men on. Score tied 4-4. Cardinals back on the field. Boyer in it waiting. Nelson Brown taking a sign from McCarver. Here's a swing of the drive down the left field line, and it should be in there, and it is, and it's going to the corner. One runner scores. Svoboda holds at third. Boyer goes to second, and the Mets are out in front by a score of 5-4. That is the 300th double of his career. Double number 300 in his career for Boyer. So Buchek scored from second. Svoboda went to third. Boyer's at second. Still 2 men out, and Jerry Grody's coming up. Once again, the umpire's interpretation of the ball hit by Svoboda, which hit umpire Frank Sikori at second base. A base hit for Svoboda. The ball was dead. Buchek could not advance. And although at the time it was played as though it were in play, and the play was made at the plate, and he was tagged out, and the call was made out, the umpires, after the Cardinals left the field, ordered them back onto the field. And so the Mets now have runners at second and third after having picked up a run. The Mets lead 5-4. And here is the pitch to Grody. A breaking ball in there for a called strike. Boyer is at third base. Boyer is at second base, and Svoboda is at third base. And the pitch is in for a called strike, a 2-strike count. Drives again, looks for his sign. Pitch misses way outside. We're still in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And a 1-2 pitch to Grody. Curveball hit deep to left. If it stays fair, it's up there. It's a foul ball, just missing the foul pole. Going into the stands, just fouled out of the left field corner as Jerry Grody gave it a long ride. And it looked for a moment as though the Mets had 3 more runs. The score is the Mets 5 and the Cardinals 4. Bob Johnson is waiting around on deck. Svoboda returns to the bag at third. Boyer at second. This will be a 1-2 pitch. And Grody steps out of the batter's box. And here's a swing and a foul ball. Back of third. The count holds 1-2 to Jerry Grody. This will be a 1-2 pitch with runners at second and third. And that is in for a call strike 3. Briles gets his third strikeout. He caught Grody looking. The Mets picked up 1 run in the inning on 3 hits. No errors, 2 left, and the score at the end of 5 full innings is the Mets 5 and the St. Louis Cardinals 4.
The sun is sunnier, the fun is funnier, the spring is springier, the swing is swingier, with the portable radio along. The news is newsier, the blues are bluesier, the folk songs folkier, the jokes are jokier, with the portable radio along. Take the portable radio. the Baltimore radio alarm.
The Mets then had runners at first and second, and Boyer doubled down the left field line to score a run to send the Mets ahead. And now we go to the top half of the sixth inning, and up for the Cardinals is Orlando Cepeda, who has been up twice and had a home run. Bill Dennehy is working in relief here for the Mets. He's worked an inning. He set the side down in order in the fifth. He's a right-hander working to a right-hand batter, and the pitch comes high and tight to Orlando Cepeda as he ducks out of the way. And it is ball one to Cepeda. There's not very much else that can happen in a baseball game. It hasn't happened in this one here tonight. Here's a swing and a miss. 1-1. Tim McCarver's on deck. And the 1-1 pitch swung on and it in the air to right field. Ron Swoboda settles underneath. And he makes the catch. Cepeda slot out to right. McCarver's coming up. He's 1 for 2, a left-hand batter. The Mets have 5 runs, 7 hits. The Cardinals 4 runs, 5 hits. Bill Dennehy's pitch is low for a ball. Time called as McCarver steps out. Now he settles himself back in. Mike Shannon is on deck. The 1-0 delivery, low, and Dennehy goes behind 2-0. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Hit on the ground toward first. Crane fool. Over, up with it, goes to the bag, and just in time to get a speeding McCarver at first base. 2 away, and now it's Mike Shannon. Slide to right and struck out swinging. Shannon to right-hand batter. Hitting .333 for the season. Off to a great start this year. There's a swing and a high infield pop. At third base, Boyer moves toward the mound. Right up on the mound, he makes the catch. Side is out in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. In the middle of the sixth, the Mets 5, the Cardinals 4. And here's Edie Gourmet to sound a high note for Plymouth's big bonus trail.
Plymouth is up to win you This is Edie Gourmet. You know, Plymouth dealers have been winning people over like mad. So you'd think they'd take a breather about now. They're throwing a big bonus sale.
It's really the big sale of the year, Edie. Plymouth dealers are offering specially equipped Fury, Belvedere, and Valiant models with special equipment at specially reduced prices. Winning deals on the wild new Barracudas, too. See them now during Plymouth's big bonus sale.
Follow your heart to your Plymouth dealer today.
Shortstop, Bob, Jaster, number 45.
In the bottom half of the sixth inning, Bob Johnson is up to lead off for the Mets. Nelson Brown on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. Johnson's been up one time as a pinch hitter for Bud Harrelson in the fourth inning, and he flied out to right field. Curveball is right in there for a called strike. Johnson and Al Luflo were used as pinch hitters with the bases loaded, nobody out in the bottom of the fourth, and both stayed in the ball game. The Mets did not score at that time. And a curveball misses outside now. It's 1-1. Rouse is working in relief of starter Al Jackson. Breaking pitch again, and this time in the dirt. 2-1. This will be a 2-1 delivery, and it's on the way. Hit on the ground toward the hole in the left, and it's gone through for a base hit. Lou Brock is up for the ball, plays it back. Johnson turns and holds it first. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
And the night shall be filled with music, Monday through Friday, 6:35 till midnight, on the big bright sound of WGY Schenectady.
South Counter at Shea Stadium in New York. The New York Mets are leading the St. Louis Cardinals 5-4. The Mets have Bob Johnson on at first, and now Luflo is up. Left-hand batter facing a right-hand pitcher. Cepeda holds against the runner at first. Biles deals a pitch. Luflo watches low for ball one. A final score. In the American League, the Chicago White Sox have lost a game, and that's news these days. The Kansas City A's 9, the Chicago White Sox 4. Paul Lindblad got the win in relief of Catfish Hunter. Dennis Higgins, in relief of Tommy John, took the loss. Here's a 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed, and the bat slips out of the hands of Luflo and goes into the Mets dugout. Dick Hughes and Hal Woodishick are throwing in the bullpen now for the Cardinals. Right-hander Dick Hughes, left-hander Hal Woodishick. Luflo is doing a little work with the pine tar rag on the handle of the bat, make it a little easier to hang on to. Count of 1-1 to Luflo. Pitcher Bill Dennehy's on deck. Now the 1-1 pitch, and it's low for a ball. 2-1 to Luflo. Cleon Jones started in center field tonight, right-hand batter, against starting Cardinal pitcher, left-hander Al Jackson. Johnson leads at first. 2-1 delivery, let up, and it's low. So it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Now to Luflo, and he looks down to Salty Parker at third to see if there's anything on here, see if he's taking. Dripping the flag out toward right at the moment. Johnson leads at first base. And the pitch is in for a called strike. It's full now at 3-2. Johnson bluffs to start at first. Luflo watched the pitch in for a called strike. So it's out full at 3-2 with nobody out. Mets leading 5-4. Glenn has picked up velocity now toward right field. Runner goes, and it's inside. Luflo draws a walk. Johnson pulls up safely at second. Well, the Mets have runners first and second, nobody out, and Dennehy is coming up in a sacrifice situation. He is 0 for 4 in his first Major League season at the plate. That's the first walk issued by Nelson Brown, who has struck out 3. Salty Parker came down for a little direct communication with Dennehy. Mike Shannon and Al Maxwell come over to the mound now for a word with Nelson Brown about how they will play a possible butt. Base runner Bob Johnson comes over for a word with Salty Barker. Johnson comes from second all the way down near third base for that consultation. Now, Mike Shannon, the third baseman of the Cardinals, is in on the edge of the grass. Maxwell hanging around the bag at second. Cepeda comes in on the edge of the grass at first. Javier ready to go to first to cover there. Now Shannon moves way in. Cepeda way in. Here's a pick-off attempt, and it is off the shin of Maxwell and going into center field. And being held at third base is runner Bob Johnson, and going to second is Luplo. Well, the Cards set their defense, but got mixed up on a pick-off attempt. As Brown wheeled and threw, but now Maxwell was not at the bag. The ball bounded off the ground, off his shins, off into left center field, and the Mets moved the runners up a base. So a little confusion there. On the pick-off attempt, and the official scorer has charged an error on Nelson Briles on the throw. And here comes Red Shane, the Cardinal manager, out of the dugout. Walking slowly, looking down to his bullpen where he has Dick Hughes and Hal Woodishick. And he is at the mound now talking to Nelson Briles. The Mets have runners at second and third with pitcher Bill Dennehy up there. Stein has gone down to the bullpen, so that's all for Nelson Briles. We'll have a pitching change here. Some of the crowd getting up for a stretch. A fine Saturday night crowd on hand here. 30,990. The paid attendance, 29,079. Date night, 1,214. Press and service, 701. A total crowd of 30,990. The pitcher getting to ride in on the electric cart is Dick Hughes, making his 11th appearance of the season. He had 2 starts, the others in relief. He has won 1 and he has lost 1 so far this year. And as he comes in to warm up to bring us up to date on scores, here's Bob Murphy.
All right, Lindsay, this afternoon, Cincinnati trimmed Philadelphia 5-2. Ex-Met Jerry Arrigo won his 4th game of the year without a loss. He relieved 18-year-old Gary Nolan in the 4th inning, and Arrigo pitched 6 innings in relief and allowed no runs and just 1 hit. The loser was Grant Jackson, the starter. He now is 2-2. The big story in baseball today was written at Wrigley Field, where the Chicago Cubs trounced the Los Angeles Dodgers by a score of 20-3. The Cubs had 20 runs, 14 hits. The Dodgers 3 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors. Ken Holtzman won his 5th game without a loss, and he is due to join the Army on May 22nd, just 2 days away, and his absence is certainly going to be felt in Chicago. Claude Osteen was the starter and losing pitcher. At the end of the 4th inning, the Cubs were out in front 12-0, and they just kept building it up. Home runs in the ball game for Chicago. Adolfo Phillips, a 3-run homer. Randy Hundley hit a grand slam, and Glenn Becker did a home run. For the Dodgers, Al Ferreira hit 2 home runs, and Ron Fairley hit a home run. So all 3 Dodger runs came on home runs. Tonight, Pittsburgh 5, Atlanta nothing at the end of 6. Beal against Kelly. Clemente a home run. The Giants lead Houston 1-0 after 5 1/2.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. The Cardinals play the infield in now. The Mets have runners at second and third. Bill Dennehy is up there. And here is the pitch by Dick Hughes, swung on and missed. Strike 1. Bill Dennehy swung himself all balanced that time. The Mets are leading by a score of 5-4, and they're batting with nobody out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Dick Hughes came on in relief of Bob Gibson last night in the 9th inning after Gibson walked the leadoff man. Hughes came in to relieve and retired 3 consecutive batters to him the ball game. Bob Johnson is at third. Al Luplo is at second. And the pitch. Low for a ball. It's 1-1 now to Dennehy. Ed Cranesville waiting on deck for the Mets. They've got Hal Woodishick, a left-hander, still working down there in the bullpen. Now again, off the stretch. The pitch, low. 2 balls and 1 strike to Dennehy. hits. The right-hander is up and throwing down there also, along with Woodishick. Pitches outside for a ball, and here is a lusty can of Let's Go Mets. Hughes with a 3-1 delivery. Low, and it's a walk. The bases are loaded up for Craneville. Dennehy goes to first base. And now, Billy Muffet is coming out. Pitching coach Billy Muffet is coming to the mound for the Cardinals. They want the left-hander. They want Woodishick to pitch to Craneville. He has a sweeping sidearm motion and is known to be especially tough on left-hand batters. And so with the bases loaded and nobody out, the Cardinals want Woodishick. The New York Mets had the bases loaded and nobody out in the fourth inning and did not score. They had the bases loaded and 2 men out in the second inning, and Jack Hammond hit a grand slam homer to give the Mets their first 4 runs and send them out in front 4-0. But now Hal Woodishick is coming in to make his 12th appearance, all in relief. His record 1 win, no losses. Last time out he pitched the third of an inning against the Phillies, allowed no runs, 2 hits. So as Woodishick comes in, he catches up to date on the American League scores. Here's Bob Murphy.
Everything is over in the American League with the exception of the game on the West Coast tonight. That game is not yet underway and won't be until about 11 o'clock. That'll be Minnesota playing at California. This afternoon, Denny McClain won his 4th of the year as Detroit downed the Yankees 3-1. Al Downing was the loser. Home runs by Dick McAuliffe of the Tigers and Mickey Mantle for New York. For Mickey, the 7th this year, and that's 503. Chuck Hinton belted a 2-run 10th inning homer off Don McMahon to give Cleveland a 5-3 win over the Boston Red Sox. Steve Bailey, the winner in relief, Tiant had started. McMahon, the loser in relief, Santiago had started. Dave McNally and Mo Grabowski combined their pitching talents, and Bud Powell hit a 3-run homer as Baltimore held on to beat Washington 4-3, nullifying 2 home runs hit by Frank Howard. The loser was young Joe Coleman. McNally is now 2-2. Joe Coleman has won 2 and lost 3. The Kansas City A's scored 9 runs against the White Sox pitching staff tonight. That's more runs than the White Sox pitching staff has been giving up in about 10 days. Kansas City winning 9-4, 9 runs, 11 hits, 1 error. Chicago 4-9-1. Paul Lindblad relieved Catfish Hunter in the 4th inning and gets the victory. Dennis Higgins, who relieved Tommy John in the 3rd, the losing pitcher. Howard in the 3rd, and Wilbur Wood in the 7th. So that's the complete rundown in the American League. 2 night games are going in the National League. Pittsburgh leading Atlanta 5-0 after 6.5. And Houston has just scored 2 runs off Juan Marichal in the last of the 6th inning. And now it's Houston 2 and the Giants 1 at the end of 6. In that ball game, Marichal is trying to win his 7th straight. And Dave Justy is trying to win his first ball game of the year as he pitches for the Houston Astros. Now Hal Woodishick has taken over the pitching. As Lindsay mentioned earlier, there's been enough action in this ball game already tonight to fill you in for about 4 days. And we're about set to turn to more of it, and once again, Lindsay Dawson.
Thank you very much, Bob Murphy.
Has just scored 2 runs off Juan Marichal in the last of the 6th inning, and now it's Houston 2 and the Giants 1 at the end of 6. In that ball game, Marichal is trying to win his 7th straight. And Dave Justy is trying to win his first ball game of the year as he pitches for the Houston Astros. Now Hal Woodishick has taken over the pitching. As Lindsay mentioned earlier, there's been enough action in this ball game already tonight to fill you in for about 4 days. And we're about set to turn to more of it, and once again, Lindsay Dawson.
Thank you very much, Bob Murphy. Hal Woodishick is warmed up. Ed Craneville, a left-hand batter, steps in to face the left-hand pitcher. The Mets have the bases loaded. Bob Johnson is at 3rd. Al Luplo is at 2nd. Bill Dennehy is at 1st. Nobody out for the Mets batting in the bottom of the 6th. The Mets are in front in the ball game, 5-4. Craneville taps the corner of the plate. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Here's the pitch. And it is a check swing, and the pitch is high for a ball. He swung it around there, but checked it in time to slate umpire Ed Vargo. So it's ball one to Craneville. Sweeping sidearm motion by Woodishick. And here's a swing and a drive into right center field. And one run is scored. Whitlow is rounding third. He comes on to score. Then he goes to third. He's held up. Craneville stands at second with a double and 2 runs batted in. The Mets lead by a score of 7-4. Ed Craneville is now 6 for 14 against left-handed pitching this season. He slammed that one for 2 bases into right center field. A solid shot. 2 more runs batted in gives him 13 for the season. Still nobody out, and Buchek is up with runners at second and third, and the Cardinals bring the infield in now. Still double barrel action. Joe Hoerner, a left-hander, has joined right-hander Ron Willis in the Cardinal bullpen. Swinging a drive down the left field line, a fair ball. It'll score 2 more runs. He scores. Craneville scores. Buchek slides at second base with a double. 2 more runs batted in. The Mets 9. The Cardinals 4. The most runs the Mets have scored in a game this year is 9. On April 17th, they scored 9 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have tied that mark now with 4 runs in this inning. Harry Davis up. Still nobody out for the New York Mets. Batting in the bottom of the strike down. An intentional walk is going to be issued to Davis. Outside, ball 1. Ron Swoboda is on deck. The runs this inning are charged to Nelson Briles. One of them is charged to Dick Hughes. One of them to Woodishick. Now the intentional pass has been accomplished. Davis goes down to first. Buchek holds at second. Ron Swoboda is up. And here comes pitching coach Billy Muffet out of the dugout again. And perhaps they want right-hander Ron Willis. The sign has gone to the bullpen. They fire up the electric car. So we're going to have the 4th Cardinal pitcher of this inning taking the ride in very shortly as Hal Woodishick has been in this game for a long time, and he's not going to wait. He heads for the dugout right now. He was brought in specifically to pitch the left-hand batter, Ed Craneville, and Craneville slammed a double. So, here comes Ron Willis into the game, making his 13th appearance, all in relief. He has a record of 1 win and no losses. He worked against the Mets last weekend in St. Louis for an inning in which he gave up no runs, 2 hits. He saved the game for Nelson Briles. Woodishick goes out without retiring anybody. He is charged with a run already, responsible for the 2 runners on board. He gave up 2 hits on an intentional walk, struck out nobody. The book is closed on Briles. He worked 2 innings and to 2 men, and the next allowed 3 runs on 4 hits, struck out 3 and walked 1. Ron Willis from Memphis, Tennessee is in the ball game. Matter of fact, the Cardinals in recent years have been drawing rather heavily on Memphis, Tennessee. Tim McCarver from Memphis, Phil Gagliano from Memphis, Ron Willis from Memphis. Down the river. To this point in the ball game, and we are in the bottom half of the 6th inning, the Mets have 9 runs on 10 hits and no errors. Cardinals have 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors. The 3rd and concluding game of this set will be played tomorrow afternoon. Game time is 2 p.m., a single game on Sunday afternoon. Don Cardwell for the Mets and Ray Washburn for the St. Louis Cardinals. fine turnout of some 30,000 on hand here at Shea Stadium tonight, following last night's crowd of some 33,000. There are plenty of tickets available for tomorrow afternoon's game here at Shea Stadium, and then the Dodgers come in. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Thursday is an off day, and then the Atlanta Braves are in. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and that'll be a ladies' day next Saturday afternoon. And then a big Sunday doubleheader here. That'll be the 28th, a week from tomorrow. Now we're set to go. Nobody out for the Mets. Runners at first and second. Ron Swoboda up to face right-hand pitcher Ron Willis. Jerry Buchek at second. Tommy Davis at first. Willis with the pitch, and it is high. As Swoboda shortened up on the bat as though to bunt the ball. Nobody out for the Mets, leading 9-4. Ken Boyer is on deck. The Mets have a 5-run lead, but keep in mind they had a 4-run lead at the end of the second inning. And it went glimmering as the Cards got 3 in the third and 1 in the fourth to tie it. Now the pitch, and it's outside. Again, Swoboda shortened up his other bunt, and Cannon came charging in from third and Cepeda from first. Art Friedman has been delving into the little red book, and the most pitches used in an inning by one club is 5. By many clubs, the last was Philadelphia, the National League against Pittsburgh, September 18th, 1965, the ninth inning. Here's the pitch in for a called strike. Willis is the fourth pitcher that the Cardinals have used in this inning. 2-1 now to Ron Swoboda. Joe Hoerner still throwing in the bullpen. Pitch is bunted foul. Cepeda and Cannon both charging, and the ball was bunted right down into the dirt and bounded right back up against the body of Ron Swoboda as he stood in the batter's box. So the count is level him at 2-2. Buchek returns to second. Tommy Davis returns to first. Buchek's had a pair of doubles in this ball game tonight. Boyer waiting there on deck has had the 300th double of his career last time up. Ron Willis takes the sign, checks the runners. 2-2 delivery. Swung on and missed. He gets a strikeout. Swoboda tried to check it at the last moment. One away for the Mets. Ken Boyer's the batter. 2 for 2 and a walk. Boyer stepping into the batter's box. Ron Willis's pitch is low for a ball. Jerry Grody swinging bat lustily on deck. Now the runners leading at first and second with one away. The 1-0 pitch to Boyer. Runners going. The pitch is low and away. The throw to third, and Buchek is out at third. Davis moves up to second. 2 away. Adam Gorin, the pitch was low and away. So it goes 2-5 on Buchek. Davis moving up to second. 2 men out now on a count of 2 balls and no strikes to Ken Boyer at the plate. Willis takes the sign from McCarver. 2-0 delivery. Outside. Count to Boyer now is 3-0. Tommy Davis leading at second. 3-0 pitch. In there for a call strike. Boyer was taking it 3-1. Mets 9, the Cardinals 4. Now Willie steps off the rubber, turns his back to the plate, takes off his glove, and is rubbing up the ball. Just taking a little breather before getting set to work 3-1 to Ken Boyer with 2 men out. Low and away, and Boyer draws a walk. Gives the Mets runners first and second, and here comes Ed Charles out to run for Ken Boyer. Ed Charles at first base running for Boyer and will doubtless stay in the game at third base.
At first base, number 24, Ed.
Jerry Grody is coming up. Goes out of the ball game, 2 for 2 and a walk, on base 4 consecutive times against his former teammates, the St. Louis Cardinals. Boyer did not play in the series last weekend against the Cardinals in St. Louis. Now Grody is in and waiting. Runners lead first and second. There's a swing and a ground ball at second. Javier bobbles at the moment, can't find the handle, and the bases are loaded. Javier knocked the ball down, could not pick it up, and so the bases are loaded. An error charged against Javier on the play, so they're loaded up for Bob Johnson with 2 men out. The Mets have batted around. Johnson's coming up for his second time in the inning. He singles, opening up the 6th inning for the Mets. Johnson's a right-hand batter. There's a swing and a drive towards second, and it's taken on the ground by Javier. He plays over to first in time, and the side is out. So the Mets pick up 4 runs on 3 hits, 2 errors, and 3 men left. And the score at the end of 6 full innings is the Mets 9 and the Cardinals 4. And here's Bob.
Armory Garage Albany is celebrating its 5th annual Imperial Week with the largest selection ever of new and used Imperials at unbelievably low prices. Armory's Art Neat invites you to test drive any one of the top condition, late model used Imperials that are ready to go. You can choose from 2- and 4-door sedans, many equipped with the exclusive Imperial extras. Trade up now at Armory and receive top dollar for your present car. Chances are it will more than cover the down payment on a mint condition, late model Imperial. Armory's on-the-spot financing assures fast service. You can buy, sign, and pay at Armory, home of 101 time payment plans. You'll be impressed with the prestige and practicality of owning an Imperial from Armory. Now's the time to save on the big comfort, style, and performance during Imperial Week. Drive into Imperial headquarters this week. Armory Garage, Central at Colvin in Albany.
Charles now playing third for the New York Mets as we move now to the 7th inning. The Mets with their second 4-run inning of the night now lead the St. Louis Cardinals 9-4. St. Louis employed 4 pitchers during the 4-run outburst. Nelson Briles was charged with 2 runs. Dick Hughes was charged with 1, and Hal Witashik was charged with 1. Briles is the pitcher of record now, along with Bill Dennehy. Cleon Javier is the leadoff batter as we go to the 7th. Bill Dennehy winding. Down comes the pitch. Fastball high. 1 ball, no strike. A lot of action crammed into tonight's game. New York, 9 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. St. Louis, 4 runs, 5 hits, and 3 errors. 3 times tonight, the Mets have had the bases loaded. Now the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. And the count is even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Javier has reached on a walk and scored a run and singled to right center. For St. Louis, Al Jackson, Kurt Flood, Roger Maris, and Orlando Cepeda each have an RBI. For the New York Mets, Jack Hamilton drove in 4 runs with 1 swing of the bat, a grand slam home run. Eddie Crane Boole and Jerry Butchek have each driven in 2. Drive in the air to deep left. It'll be beyond the reach of Tommy Davis. up against the bullpen, and Javier is going into second base, standing up with a double. That is the first hit given up by Bill Dennehy. In relief, Bill had retired 6 straight men. Now it brings up shortstop Dal Maxwell. RBIs for New York tonight, Hamilton 4, Crane, Poole, and Buchek each have 2, and Kenny Boyer, who was on base 4 times in a row, drove in 1. Kenny was up 4 times, he walked twice, and collected 2 hits. Here's the pitch on the way. He checks the swing, and it's too high, ball 1. Bobby Tolan has come out on deck as a pinch hitter. Fastball high. Ball 2, it's 2-0. St. Louis has now used 5 pitchers, including 4 in that 6th inning. Now Dennehy, the tall right-hander from Connecticut, looks in to get his sign from Jerry Grody. The 2-0 delivery, curve outside, and he goes behind on Maxwell, 3-0. Javier is on second with a leadoff double. Jerry Grody out talking with Bill Dennehy as the count goes to 3-0 on Dal Maxwell. Strong breeze whipping from left field across toward right. Wind has freshened up considerably since the start of the ball game. Now Dennehy with the count 3-0. The pitch down the middle. Strike 1 called. It's 3-1. Bobby Tolan has come out on deck. He'll be batting for Ron Willis, meaning the Redbirds will have their 6th pitcher in the ball game in the last of the 7th. 3-1 pitch. Call strike on the outside corner, 3-2. Bill Dennehy with a chance to bag his first major league win here this evening. Full count, 3-2. Here's the payoff delivery. Reached for a drive over second into center field at the base hit. Fielded quickly by Luplow. Javier will hold at third. Now runners on first and third, nobody out. And pinch hitter Bobby Tolan coming up. Right here, a quick pause for a station break. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is Deliverance, and you know the sun rises and sets on my radio shows. Join me weekdays 7 to 10 a.m., 3 to 6 p.m. on the Big Bright Sound here on WGY in Schenectady.
Paul Kinder from Shea Stadium. Bobby Tolan is the pinch hitter, and he rips one. Fair ball right on the right field line. Going down into the corner. Javier has scored. Racing to third is Maxwell. Maxwell rounds third. He's held up. Tolan runs up on him. Charles picks the ball up, and able to get back is Bobby Tolan. The throw coming in from right could not be cut off. Otherwise, Tolan would have been hung up between second and third. Charles had to make a good play on the throw coming in, which was in the dirt and out toward left field. So, a run quickly is in. The runners on second and third, and nobody out. Bobby Tolan hitting the first pitch, doubles down the right field line. He really ripped it. He hit right on the line. Now, Wes Westrom has his foot on the top dugout step. Don Shaw and Bob Shaw are in the bullpen. 3 hits in a row for the St. Louis Cardinals. Bill Dennehy, in relief, had retired 6 in a row. Now has given up 3 straight hits. 1 run is in. Tolan gets an RBI. New York now 9 runs, 10 hits, no errors. St. Louis 5 runs, 8 hits, and 3 errors. But the Cardinals have a run in and 2 in scoring position with nobody out. And a base hit, and the Cardinals would be right back in this ball game. Wes taking as much time as he can on the mound to give his bullpen a little more of an opportunity. The 3 hits in a row have given the bullpen very little time. Now plate umpire Ed Vargo goes out to the mound and asks for the decision, and Don Shaw will come in to face Lou Brock. Now the Mets will have their fourth pitcher in the ball game. Don Shaw relieved 2 innings in last night's game, gave up 1 run, 3 hits. The only run given up by Don last night was a home run hit by Julian Javier over the center field wall. This will be the 11th ball game for Don Shaw. Don has won 1 and lost 2. It'll be the 3rd time that he has faced the Cardinals. Hence, the Rheingold Chug-A-Mug holds 12 ounces of Rheingold Extra Dry, and it has a pull tab so you don't need an opener. You know, it's about the handiest way there is of quenching your thirst. You'll find Chug-A-Mug on special display at your local stores in New York and New Jersey. Checking on the other ball games. Night games, the Giants got 2 in the 7th inning. They have regained the lead and now lead Houston 3-2 at the end of 7. Juan Marichal pitching against Dave Justy. Marichal tries for his 7th straight win. The game in Atlanta is now being held up because of rain, with Pittsburgh leading Atlanta 5-0 behind Bob Beal. Beal is 5-0. Dick Scully pitching for Atlanta. This afternoon, the Chicago Cubs smothered the Los Angeles Dodgers 20-3. Kenny Holtzman won his 5th game without a loss. Claude Osteen was the loser. He's now 5-3. Chicago got a grand slam by Randy Hundley, a 3-run homer by Adolfo Phillips, and a home run by Glenn Becker. The only 3 Dodger runs were scored on home runs with the bases empty, 2 by Al Ferrara and 1 by Ron Fairley. Chicago beating the Dodgers 20-3. Cincinnati getting all 5 runs in the 5th inning defeated Philadelphia 5-2. And Jerry Arrigo, who is writing quite a story this year, is now 4-0. He won the ball game in relief. He worked 6 innings in relief of Gary Nolan, and he allowed only 1 hit. Arrigo, in 25 innings this year, has given up only 1 earned run. The loser was Grant Jackson. In the American League, despite a home run by Mickey Mantle, the Detroit Tigers downed the Yankees 3-1. Denny McClain won his 4th, and Al Downing was the loser. In the top of the 10th inning at Fenway Park, Chuck Hinton belted a 2-run homer off Don McMahon as Cleveland beat the Red Sox 5-3. Steve Bailey was the winner in relief, and Don McMahon was the loser. Luis Tiant and Jose Santiago had started the game. Bud Powell hit a 3-run homer. Dave McNally and Mo Grabowski combined on the mound as Baltimore beat Washington 4-3. Frank Howard hit 2 home runs in a losing cause. And tonight, Kansas City beat the White Sox 9-4. Paul Lindblad, the winner in relief of Catfish Hunter. The losing pitcher in relief was Dennis Higgins. Now Don Shaw is ready to go. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. And the batter is Lou Brock. Lou is 0 for 3 tonight. Left-hander against left-hander. Now Don Shaw wants to talk to Jerry Grody. The runner on 3rd is Val Maxwell. Bobby Tolan is on 2nd. This game has really been something else. Bill Dennehy worked 2 innings. At the moment, has given up 1 run, allowed 3 hits. He's responsible for the 2 men on. He walked none and struck out none. Here's the pitch on the way. Bounced foul down the first base line, no play. Kurt Flood is on deck, and then Roger Maris. New York 9, St. Louis 5, top of the 7th. Now Don Shaw out of his windup. The pitch, he just pops up out toward the mound. Ed Charles comes right up on the mound, now backs off the mound, and he makes the catch. That wind has freshened up to the extent that those pop flyers are no bargain to handle. 1 man away, Kurt Flood coming up. Flood has struck out twice, bounced out to short. Last time up, Bob Johnson made a glittering play to get him. Kurt 0 for 3 tonight, batting .298. Mets with the infield back with a 4-run lead. Here's the pitch on the way. A strike on the outside corner. A little swirl of dust now. Don Shaw turns his back to let it go flying by. A gusty night. Now Don Shaw with runners on second and third, one man out. Facing Kurt Flood. The left-handers wind up and pitch. A little bit high, and he lets it go. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mets play a single afternoon game with the Cardinals tomorrow, starting at 2. Don Cardwell will oppose Ray Washburn. Maxwell leads off third, Colin off second. Sinker low outside, 2 balls and a strike. Don Shaw, quiet, rookie left-hander from La Mesa, California. Pitching 2-1. Foul tipped. He just got a piece of it. And it nicked umpire Ed Bargo on the right foot. So Ed has to hopple around just a little bit, trying to take the pain out of it. Even count on Flood at 2-2. Now Kurt Flood cocks the bat. Mets have the outfield just a step to left. Shaw out of his windup, the 2-2 pitch. Way outside, it's ball 3. So the string goes out 3-2 on Kurt Flood. 1 run in on 3 straight hits for the Cardinals before Don Shaw came in to get Lou Brock. Three and 2 on Kurt Flood. Maris on deck, and then Cepeda. In comes the 3-2 pitch. Foul ball, he'll have to try it again. Slow trickler going over toward the visiting dugout. Again on center fielder Kurt Flood. Now the payoff pitch by Don Shaw. A ground ball hit hard, knocked down by Johnson. He won't make a play. In to score comes Maxwell. It is now 9-6, and the tying run Maris will be coming to bat. It's a base hit for Kurt Flood. A hard ground ball in the hole. Johnson reaching across the body with a backhand stab knocked it down, but couldn't gain control to try and throw him out. Throwing against the running speed of Kurt Flood, I doubt seriously he had any chance to get him, even though the ball was hit hard. So things are getting serious. That's Flood's second run batted in. So Gagliano is going to bat for Roger Maris. Red Shandy's wanting a right-hand hitter against the left-hand pitcher, and so Gagliano is the pinch hitter for Roger Maris. Now Shaw delivers off the outside corner. Grody thought he had a strike with that one. The 2 runs in here in the 7th, charged to Bill Dennehy. Bob Shaw is now on call in the New York bullpen. 9-6 New York. Here's the pitch. A check swing and a foul ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bobby Tilden is on second, and Kurt Flood is on first with 1 man out. Ball game is in the top of the 7th. The 1-1 delivery. Low and outside, Grody bluffs the peg to first. And the count goes to 2-1 on Gagliano, the pinch hitter. Gagliano, the second pinch hitter used by Red Shandines here in the visiting seventh. He put Bobby Tolan up as the pinch hitter, and he doubled down the right field line. Pitching 2-1. And the curve is over for a call strike. It's 2-2. Now Shaw throws the pitching slab, looks in for his sign. Right-handed batting Phil Gagliano waiting. A lot of speed on the baselines at this moment for the Cardinals with Bobby Tolan on second and Kurt Flood on first. Now Shaw in the set position. The 2-2 pitch. Low and outside, ball 3. An uneasy moment coming up. 3-2. Now let's keep an eye on the speedy base runners, Bobby Tolan and Kurt Flood, and see how Red Shandines plays it. Gagliano is the batter with a tough hitter behind him, Orlando Cepeda. The runners hold up. A high fly ball hit to left field. Tommy Davis jogging toward the left field line, slows up, he's under it, makes the catch. Runners playing it halfway, cruise back. Now Orlando Cepeda. Cepeda has one hit and 3 times at bat. That was a home run to the opposite field in the 4th inning that tied the ball game 4-4. Mets regained the lead in their half of the 5th inning. A double by Ken Boyer broke the deadlock and put the Mets in front 5-4. The Mets then scored 4 runs in the 6th inning. St. Louis has come back for 2 here in the 7th. Now the pitch on the way. Fastball outside, ball 1. Cepeda's home run was his 6th of the year. His 22nd run batted in. Anything pulled to left by a right-hand batter won't get any help. Swing and a miss. Oh, what a cut he took at that. That sinker by Don Shaw, and Cepeda really had a rip. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two outs and 2 on, top of the 7th. 1-1 count to Orlando Cepeda. Tim McCarver is the on-deck hitter. Now the stretch by Don. The 1-1 delivery. A drive hit hard to left field. It's going to be a base hit in the left field corner. Bobby Tolan is scoring. Flood is flying around third. He has the green light. He will come in to score. It is 9-8, and the tying runs on second. A double to the left field corner by Cepeda. The Mets lead has been cut to a single run, and the tying run is in scoring position with Tim McCarver coming up. Second long hit of the game for Cepeda. He now has a home run and a double and has driven 3 runs in. 4 runs are in. The first 3 charged to Bill Dennehy. The last across the plate is charged to Don Shaw in relief. That is all the runs that can be charged to Bill Dennehy. Cepeda on second, the responsibility of Don Shaw. And with McCarver coming up, Don Shaw will stay with it to try and get him. McCarver has 1 hit and 3 times up. He singled to right center back in the 4th inning. The Cardinals now just a base hit away from tying up the ball game. It's over, strike 1 call. A real pure sixer going tonight here at Shea. Third time tonight, 4 runs have scored in 1 inning. The Mets had 2 4-run innings, and the Cardinals now have a 4-run inning. Now the pitch. A ground ball slowly hit toward the middle. Boot check up with it. Throws the crane through. That's it. The side is out. St. Louis in the seventh, 4 runs. 5 hits. No errors. 1 man, the potential tying run left on base. So it's 7th inning stretch time here at Shea Stadium, and the score at the end of the 6th and a half is the New York Mets 9 and the St. Louis Cardinals 8. You know something? When you're a pro, you're a pro. Either you have it or you don't. Like sometimes in baseball and spring training in particular, when a youngster starts looking so good, immediately they attach a lot of publicity. Everybody says he's going to be a great one. Sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't. Sometimes that youngster finds when the season opens that they spot a particular weakness. That usually takes care of things. A few weeks later, you might mention his name and few fans remember it. You know, you've really got to have it to make it, especially in a tough town like New York. You know, there are 302 brands of beer in the city. 302. Well, that's a lot of brands competing with each other. And you know the beer that's made it to the top? Rheingold. How come? Well, it's the beer itself. The way it tastes. That rich, dry lager. Rheingold tastes good. Day after day after day. And that's what a real pro is. Consistent.
That's the third position. Number 43. Joe Hoerner.
We will. Now, here are the changes for the Cardinals as the Mets come in to hit in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The new pitcher is Joe Hoerner, and he'll be hitting in Roger Maris' spot in the batting order, the number 3 spot. Bobby Tolan, who delivered a double as a pinch hitter, stays in the ballgame and goes to right field. So Bobby Tolan is in the number 9 spot in the batting order. Joe Hoerner is the 6th Cardinal pitcher. Ron Willis was the 4th pitcher used by Shandies in that 4-run 6th inning. And he came on to get the side out. Willis getting credit for the inning. Al Luplow is up against Joe Hoerner, and he takes high, ball 1. Joe Hoerner from Dubuque, Iowa, was the top fireman in the Cardinal bullpen last year. This year, Hoerner has won 1 and lost 1. He won his last time out in relief against Philadelphia. Side-arming left-hander delivers. Our ground smash to short can't be handled by Darryl Maxwell. It goes on into left field, and Al Luplow is on. And that's a base hit. A hard ground ball that broke off the glove of the shortstop Maxwell as he ran into the hole. Now the pitcher, Don Shaw, is scheduled up. It appears we may get a pinch hitter, and Bob Shaw is going back to work in the bullpen. Tommy Reynolds is coming out of the dugout, and Tommy will hit for Don Shaw. Very few ball players are getting the night off in this one. This has been the kind of wild, fierce sixer that the managers call on all of the reserve strength. So Tommy Reynolds is coming up to hit for Don Shaw. The Mets will have a new pitcher as we go to the 8th inning. Don Shaw came in after Bill Dennehy gave up 3 hits in a row in the 7th. Dennehy has started off in great style, retiring 6 in a row. Bunted by Tommy. Hoerner off the mound. The play has to go to first. Cepeda handling the throw. Moving over to second goes Al Luplow. Ball was dropped by Cepeda, but the play has been completed according to Billy Williams. So Tommy Reynolds gets his job done as he tries to help build a run by bunting Al Luplow over. At the end of the 6th inning, the Mets were ahead 9-4. They had a 5-run lead. You didn't think in terms of an insurance run then, but you certainly do now. Eddie Cranepool is up. Eddie doubled 2 runs in his last time at bat. He has 2 for 4 tonight. The sidearm left-hander misses the outside corner. He's got to be a tough pitcher for a left-hand hitter in particular. Eddie Cranepool, with his 2 for 4 tonight, has raised his batting average to .370. Now Hoerner up in pitching position. Misses outside. 2-0 on Ed Cranepool. New York, 9 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. St. Louis, 8 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors. Mets had a 4-run lead at the end of the second and a 5-run lead at the end of the sixth. Their lead now has been cut to a single run. This is the kind of ball game where you have to stick in there and really battle it through. Time call if that gust of wind picks the loose dirt up off the skin part of the diamond and brings it flying across the infield. Jerry Buchek waiting on deck. Now the pitch. Fouled off. Back toward the visiting dugout. 2 balls and a strike. Well, the Mets have seen 6 Cardinal pitchers here this evening, and there's another warming up. The Mets will have Bob Shaw in the ball game in the 8th inning. Swinging a miss back, Cranepool, 2-2. St. Louis now has Steve Carlton heating up in the bullpen. Two balls, 2 strikes on Cranepool. And the pitch on the way is foul back over the upright screen into the crowd. The count stays 2-2. Jack Fisher is throwing in the bullpen. I believe Jack's just loosening up out there. He worked 6 1/3 last night. Some pitchers will not throw the next night. They wait till that second night. Others like to work the next night for a few minutes. And a foul pop-up back over the screen. No play for McCarver. The count stays 2-2. As Cranepool hangs in there in his battle against a side-arming left-hander. Eddie has done very well against left-hand pitching so far this year. Against the Southpaws, Eddie Cranepool has had 6 hits in 15 times at bat. The 2-2 pitch, and he pops it up down the first base line. Cepeda crosses the line into foul ground and snags it for the out. 2 away in the last of the 7th inning. Now Jerry Buchek. Jerry has 2 doubles in 4 times. And he pops it up down the first base line. Cepeda crosses the line into foul ground and snags it for the out. 2 men away in the last of the 7th inning. Now Jerry Buchek. Jerry has 2 doubles in 4 times at bat. Jerry has driven 2 runs in. So Buchek is hitting .286, and Jerry now has 12 RBIs. Eddie Cranepool, the club leader, with 13. Here's the pitch on the way. A ground ball bounced to short. Maxwell grabs the hop. Throws across the Cepeda, and the side is out. So the Mets threatened but failed to score in their half of the 7th. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. At the end of 7, it's the New York Mets 9 and the St. Louis Cardinals 8. In the major leagues today, Cincinnati over Philadelphia, 5-2. Jerry Arrigo, the winner at relief. Grant Jackson, the loser. The Chicago Cubs 20, the Los Angeles Dodgers 3. Holtzman, the winner. Osteen, the loser. Cubs hit 3 homers. The Dodgers hit 3. Tonight at the end of 8, the Pirates lead the Atlanta Braves 6-2. That game was held up for a while because of rain. Al McBean has relieved Bob Beal in the 8th. Billy Hitchcock has used 3 pitchers, Dick Kelly, Jay Ritchie, and Phil Necro. They're in the last of the 9th inning now in Houston. The Giants, with Marichal shooting for his 7th straight, lead the Houston Astros 3-2. Justy started for Houston, Snyder in the 8th, and Ramon in the 9th. In the American League, Mickey Mantle hit number 7 this year and 503 altogether. But the Tigers and Denny McClain beat the Yankees 3-1 with Al Downing the loser. Dick McAuliffe homered for Detroit. In the 10th inning with Don McMahon on in relief, Chuck Hinton of Cleveland hit a two-run homer to win it for Cleveland 5-3 over Boston. Steve Bailey was the winner in relief. Butch Powell had the big hit, a 3-run homer, as the Orioles shaded Washington 4-3. Starter Dave McNally got the win, and starter Joe Coleman was the loser. Frank Howard hit his 6th and 7th home runs of the year in a losing cause. And tonight the A's beat the White Sox 9-4. Paul Lindblad, who came on in the 4th in relief of Catfish Hunter, was the winner. Dennis Higgins, who replaced Tommy John in the 3rd, was the loser. And here are the warm-ups for the game on the West Coast tonight. Dean Chance, who's won 6 in a row, he lost his first start, will be on the mound for Minnesota against his old teammates, the California Angels, and the Angels will be pitching Nick Wilhite. Now Bob Shaw comes in the game in relief. This will be Bob's 9th appearance of the year. He started 3 ball games, then went to the bullpen on the 2nd of May, and this will be his 6th straight relief appearance. Bob relieved in last night's game, working 2/3 of an inning. And he has a tough job on his hands trying to protect a 1-run lead over the last 2 innings. Third baseman Mike Shannon is up against Bob Shaw as we go to the 8th inning. Foul ball, just got a piece of it, strike 1. The Cardinals tomorrow, a day game at 2, and then the Dodgers Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. Tuesday night should be a great fun night here at the ballpark. It'll be the first annual fraternal night, and we'll have some 25,000 members of the Masons and Knights of Columbus organizations in attendance. Pitch to Shannon, reached for a pop fly into short left. Bob Johnson thunders out into the outfield and takes it for the out. Shannon beat Bob Shaw and the New York Mets. Shaw was not the loser of ball game. In St. Louis, when Shaw fooled him with a great pitch, a curveball with a count of 1-2, Mike threw his bat at the ball and singled to left, driving 2 runs in, and it won the ball game. That was a similar pitch, and he almost pulled it off for a base hit. Johnson was able to get under it and take it for the out. Julian Javier has had a good series. Tonight he has reached on a walk, single to right center, and double to left. Pitch by Shaw, inside, letter high, ball 1. Javier, with his 2 for 2 on a walk tonight, has raised his average up over 300. He's now hitting 304. And all that means is that the first 7 hitters in the Cardinal lineup are batting 300 or more. That's not a bad thing to have going for you. Lou Brock, Kurt Flood, Roger Maris, Orlando Cepeda, Tim McCarver, Mike Shannon, and Julian Javier, all up over 300. Now the windup by Shaw. Down comes his pitch. A grounder, whack foul down the third base line. 1 ball and 1 strike on Javier. With the exception of the Mets, the other ball clubs the Cardinals have played in the National League, they see a lot of left-hand pitching. And that helps in particular a hitter like Javier, who is not too strong against right-handers, but is very strong against left-hand pitching. Hitters like Lou Brock, Roger Maris, Tim McCarver. Cardinals were on a 6-game road trip a couple of weeks ago, and for 6 games in a row, they faced a starting left-hander. The 1-1 pitch. And it's inside, ball 2, 2-1. One out, nobody on. We're in the 8th. New York clinging to a 1-run lead. It's 9-8. Fouled off the end of the bat. We have seen 11 pitchers in this game tonight. The Mets have used 5 and the Cardinals have used 6. The Little Red Book of Baseball says that the record for most pitchers used in a game by both clubs, the Major League record is 14. So this game is just 3 shy of that record. Lined foul down the left field line. Hanging curveball that was ripped by Javier, and it was fouled a couple of yards. The last time that 14 pitchers were used in one ball game was in 1961, an American League game between the Indians and the A's. The last time in the National League was 1959, Cincinnati and Milwaukee. The 2-2 pitch. Ooh, just missed a little bit high, and the string is out 3-2. Full count on Javier, and now Julian wants the Rosenbach. This is already a 3-hour ball game, but there have not been any dull moments. Shaw cranks up. The 3-2 pitch. A little bloop hit off the bat down toward first. It could be trouble. Thrown to Shaw. He can't beat him. And it's on with a base hit as Javier with one of the funniest hits you've ever seen. Shaw made a good pitch. He jammed the batter. Hit him right on the fifth. The ball was a little bloop down toward Cranepool. Not high enough for Cranepool to get under and catch in the air. He had to grab it on the hop. Wait for Shaw to get over there, and Bob couldn't get there in time, and all you can do is score at a base hit. For Javier, that's 3 in a row. Now Dave Ricketts is going to hit for Dow Maxwell. Dave Ricketts, left-handed batting catcher, who's had 3 hits and 5 times up as a pinch hitter. Is going to bat for Dow Maxwell, left-hand hitter against Bob Shaw. Cardinals now have the tying run on first, 1 man out. Dow Maxwell had 1 for 2 and a walk in the game. Ricketts had a punishing pinch hit against New York in the series of St. Louis. Here's the pitch by Shaw. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Eddie Cranepool holding against Javier, a fast man at first. Base hits are now even. Each team has 11.
Ricketts forced Javier, and then Bob Gibson pinch ran for Ricketts and went to third on Bobby Tolan's base hit. Tolan batting for pitcher Ron Willis. So that brought Lou Brock up with runners at first and third and 2 out, top half of the 8th.
Cardinals got a good break on the base hit by Julian Javier. He blooped one down toward first, not high enough to be caught in the air, and beat it out for an infield hit. Now they have the tying run 90 feet away. Runners on first and third, 2 down, and Brock coming up. Lou has gone 0 for 4 this evening. Brock hitting .321. Runners at the corners, 2 down. In comes the pitch. Ground ball hit toward the middle. It's going to be a base hit to tie the ball game. Gibson is coming in to score. Tolan racing on to third, and this ball game is tied 9-9. Brock hitting the first pitch right up the middle. batter is Curt Flood, and he has a chance to put St. Louis into the lead. Runners at first and third. One run is in, tying the ball game on 3 hits here in the top of the 8th inning. As Shaw takes his sign from Grody. Flood got a base hit his last time up. He has 1 for 4. Now Grody going out to talk with Bob Shaw. So twice in this game tonight, the Mets have lost big leads. They were ahead 4-0. The Cardinals came back to tie it 4-4. They were ahead 9-4, and the Cardinals have come back to tie it again. 1 ball and no strikes on Curt Flood. Well, the pitchers of record now, Joe Hoerner and Bob Shaw. Now the stretch by Shaw. And the pitch to Flood, a curve outside, ball 2. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Well, the Cardinal pitcher, Joe Hoerner, is due to bat next, and Alex Johnson has come out on deck. Larry Jaster is warming up now in the St. Louis bullpen. Nothing going in the Mets bullpen. Now the pitch. Strikes on the outside corner, 2-1. And now it's Curt Flood's turn to have the ball examined. 2 balls and 1 strike. Javier reached on a bloop infield hit with 1 dot. The following hits by Bobby Tolan and Lou Brock have both been well hit up the middle. It's 2-1 on Flood, and the pitch by Bob Shaw, curve outside and low, ball 3. Alex Johnson, the on-deck batter, to bat for the pitcher, if needed. Shaw behind on the count to Flood, 3-1. Now the stretch. The 3-1 delivery, fastball over, a strike, and it's 3-2. Curt didn't like the call. He spins out of the batter's box. Now we have a big pitch coming up. Runners at first and third. The game tied 9-9. 2 men out. Curt Flood the batter, and it's 3-2. Shaw works off the stretch. Now the pitch. Ground ball bounced toward the middle. Buchek up with the ball. Throws to first to side is out. Ball was hit toward the middle, but Buchek was gunning on the spot to toss him out. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, 2 left on. At the end of 7 1/2 innings, the Cardinals 9, the Mets 9.
Armory Garage proudly announces the arrival of its 5th annual Imperial Week. Stop in at the corner of Central and Colvin in Albany and see the full Imperial line. Treat yourself to a test drive and experience the quiet ride, the elegant interiors, and the luxurious extras that are standard equipment on these beauties. Let the Armory salesman show you how you can own an Imperial for far less than you expect. Armory's volume is one reason why they can put you behind the wheel of the newest luxury car in a decade at the lowest possible price. Used car sales are up, and Armory will give you top trade on your present car. Another reason why smart car buyers check Armory first. Learn how you can buy, sign, and pay at Armory, where terms are tailored to suit your budget. Or learn how you can lease a new Imperial at Armory. Isn't it time you experience the luxury, the prestige of a precision-built automobile? Stop in at Armory Garage, Central at Colvin, Albany, during Imperial Week for the best buy on Imperial 67, the newest prestige car in a decade.
Bottom half of the 8th inning, Eddie Brosseau goes to shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals, and Tommy Davis will be leading off against left-hander Joe Hoerner. Final scores in the National League: Pittsburgh defeated Atlanta 6-2. Bob Beal won his 6th game of the year without a loss. Dick Kelly was the loser. McBean relieved in the 8th inning, and Roberto Clemente had a home run. Good crowd tonight in Atlanta, 33,883. And Juan Marichal again went all the way, winning his 7th straight complete game victory as the Giants beat Houston 3-2. Dave Justy was the loser. Outside to Tommy Davis, ball 1. So everything is over in the National League except the wild one here. It was Cincinnati over Philadelphia, 5-2. The Cubs beat the Dodgers 20-3. Swing and a miss by Tommy. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tonight, Pittsburgh topped Atlanta 6-2, and the Giants beat the Astros 3-2. Everything is over in the American League except the game on the West Coast. The 1-1 pitch by Hoerner. Strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Joe Hoerner starting his 2nd inning of relief work. Side-arming left-hander. In the American League, Detroit beat the Yankees 3-1. McLean won. Downing was the loser. Cleveland 5-3 in 10 innings on a 10th inning homer by Chuck Hinton. They beat the Red Sox. Baltimore 4, Washington 3. McNally the winner and Coleman the loser. Bud Powell hit a big 3-run homer. Kansas City beats the White Sox tonight 9-4 with Paul Lindblad the winner. A swing and a miss, he struck him out. And Joe Hoerner strikes out Tommy Davis.
Right fielder, Ron Swoboda, number 4.
Ron Swoboda coming up. Ron has 1 for 3 and has reached on a walk. Ron got his base hit in the midst of a controversy back in the 5th inning, but the rule was down solid in black and white. He hit a shot off the mound that hit the umpire. And it's a strike on the outside corner. The rule book says that the ball is dead when a ball hits an umpire before passing an infielder other than the pitcher. Now the pitch on the way. It's over for a call, strike 2. Last of the 8th inning, 9-9. 1 out, nobody on as Joe Hoerner comes out of the windup now. The pitch off the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ed Charles is waiting on deck. Ed came in the game as a runner for Ken Boyer back in the 6th inning. At that time, the Mets had gone ahead 9-4. Swinging and a miss, he struck him out. Now Charles will be hitting for the first time.
Ed Charles, number 24.
Ken Boyer had a good night. Kenny was up 4 times and on base 4 times with 2 walks, a single, and a double. After the Mets had taken a 5-run lead, Ed Charles came in as a runner, so he's up for the first time. Just off the outside corner, 1 ball and no strike. Pitched by the left-hander, a foul ball hit back upstairs over our broadcasting booth. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals have used 6 pitchers tonight. The Mets have used 5. The 1-1 delivery. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. St. Louis had 4 pitchers in the 6th inning, where the Mets scored 4 runs for the 2nd time in the game. The 2-1 delivery. Pop fly into left center field. Flood racing in, now starts to slow up, and Kurt Flood takes it for the out. And Joe Hoerner retires the Mets 1-2-3 in the last of the 8th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. At the end of 8, the St. Louis Cardinals 9 and the New York Mets 9.
This is Victor Borger with a special report from CARE on food for life and hope. In this country of ours, where food is so plentiful, we often forget that there are places on earth where people have little or nothing at all to sustain them. Millions suffer hunger and despair for the lack of just enough food with which to survive. Yes, in many areas, poverty exists. Orphans, refugees, the sick and aged go hungry. Food sources are destroyed during earthquakes, floods, and war. In Latin America, Asia, and Africa, men, women, and children need help today to give them hope for tomorrow. Care Food Crusade continues to serve this need by sending $1 packages of life-giving food delivered in the name of the sender. You can bring life and hope to the needy by sending dollars to Care Food Crusade.
Score tied 9-9, and Alex Johnson is batting for Joe Hoerner to lead off the ninth. Swing and a miss, strike one. Alex, an outfielder, big, strong, right-handed batter, batting for Joe Hoerner. So the Cardinals will have their seventh pitcher in the ball game in the last of the ninth inning. They're warming up Larry Jaster. Now Shaw over the head, down comes the arm. Curve just missed the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Bob Shaw fingers the rosin bag. Let's have the infield a step to left against Johnson. The outfield playing deep. Now Shaw delivers 1-1. Ground ball hit toward the hole, and it goes on through for a base hit to left field. Johnson around first will hold there as Davis whips it back in. He hit down on that ball and took a long, high skip over the outstretched glove of Ed Charles and on through the hole for a base hit. For the Cardinals, their 14th hit of the ball game, and Mr. Orlando Cepeda is coming up. Cepeda homered in the 4th inning to tie the game 4-4. Then delivered a punishing double in the 7th inning to pull the Cardinals within a single run. Now the pitch on the way. It's over at the knees, strike one. Cepeda hitting .378. 3 RBIs tonight, raising his total to 24. In comes the pitch to him. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tim McCarver on deck, and then Mike Shannon. St. Louis, 9 runs, 14 hits and 3 errors. New York, 9 runs, 11 hits, no errors. Johnson leading off first. Hit foul. He went after a bad pitch that broke far outside and just nicked it on the end of the bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. St. Louis had traded away Bill White to Philadelphia. They were in trouble at first base when the season opened last year. But about a month into the season, they traded Ray Sadecki for Orlando Cepeda. Way inside, he gets away from Jerry Grody. Johnson races to second, takes the turn, and then stops. That's a wild pitch charge to Bob Shaw. It was high inside. Cepeda had to bail out trying to get away from it. And Cepeda immediately wants the ball looked at by Ed Vargo. Now the Cardinals have the potential leading run in scoring position. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on Orlando Cepeda. Bob Shaw up in the set position, delivers a line drive, a base hit down the left field line, rolling all the way down into the corner. Johnson is in to score to put St. Louis in front on the double by Cepeda. His 3rd extra base hit of the ball game. And St. Louis, for the first time tonight, has gone in front. They now lead 10-9. Big ball game for Cepeda. Cepeda now has 2 doubles and a home run and has driven 4 runs in. brings up Tim McCarver. Nobody out. McCarver has 1 for 4 this evening. Now the pitch by Shaw. Curve inside. It's ball 1. One ball and no strikes on Tim McCarver. St. Louis coming from far behind. They were trailing 9-4 at the end of 6 innings. Now the pitch. A high fly, well hit to right center. Luplo cruising to his glove side is under it. Makes the catch. Cepeda tags. He's on his way to third. The throw will not be in time. And Cepeda goes into third after the catch. Cardinals now will be trying to pick up the insurance tally. Cepeda on third with 1 down. And Mike Shannon coming up. Mike is 0 for 4 tonight. Shannon hitting .329. And now the Mets will bring the infield in, and Grody goes out to talk to Bob Shaw. Bob Shaw came on in the 8th inning. Bob has now given up 2 runs, allowed 5 hits. Now Grody glancing to the dugout to see how Wes Western wants to play it. Javier is the on-deck batter. He's had a hot hand in this ball game with 3 for 3 and a walk. And now Ed Vargo walks over. I believe we want a defensive change. Western wants Don Beisch in the ball game as a defensive move. The Mets are in a position here where they need a strong throwing arm on a fly ball hit to left field. And I believe Tommy Davis will be coming out. Luplo will move to left, and Beisch will go to center. With a runner on third and 1 out, and it could be a very big run. Luplo will go to left. Beisch comes into play center, and Tommy Davis comes out.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Number 17, Don Bosch, now playing center field.
Tommy Davis had a batting turn in the 8th inning, so
moving to left field.
Very unlikely he would be coming up in the last of the 9th inning. The hitter is Mike Shannon. The infield is in tight on the edge of the carpet. Now the stretch by Shaw. Here's the pitch on the way. A ground ball bounced off the glove of Johnson on into center field, a base hit. In to score, Orlando Cepeda, and the Cardinals have a 2-run lead. Cepeda applauding as he runs to the dugout. Boy, is he happy. He has had some kind of a night. Against the drawn-in infield, that ball was just beyond the reach of Bob Johnson.
Javier, number 25.
Base hit and an RBI for Mike Shannon. Cardinals as a team are really hitting. First 7 men in the Cardinal lineup hitting over 300. As an example, in this game tonight, 7 different players have at least 1 RBI. Now Javier, the batter, fouls it off, strike 1. Cepeda, the big gun in the attack, with 2 doubles and a home run and 4 RBIs. The only other Cardinal player with more than 1 run batted in is Curt Flood. He has 2. Now the stretch by Shaw. Here's the pitch on the way. A swing and a miss at a curveball. Julian Javier has 3 for 3 tonight and has reached on a walk. And he's raised his batting average up over 300. He's now hitting .311. So it's St. Louis 11, New York 9, and we're in the 9th inning. 1 man away. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He got him with a breaking ball. And that'll bring up Eddie Brassu.
Brassu, number 11.
Eddie's first time up at Shea Stadium in a Cardinal uniform. Pitch by Shaw, and Eddie has to hit the dirt to get out of the way. Ball 1. In the bottom half of the 9th, New York will have Jerry Grody, Bob Johnson, and Al Luplo coming up. Now Shaw checks his runner. And the curve is over a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Unless the Mets can rally and win this one, they will have to suffer their bitterest defeat of the year. Two runs in. Now the fastball for a strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here in the ninth, the Cardinals have scored 2 runs on 3 hits. And St. Louis will have a new pitcher pitching in the last of the ninth inning. And the breaking ball just off the outside corner. The 2 runs scored here in the ninth inning belong to relief pitcher Joe Hoerner. Hoerner pitching 2 innings of relief, and he has pitched well. He pitched the 7th and 8th. Allowed no runs, just 1 hit. Walked none and struck out 2, and he stands to get the wind if the lead is protected. Now the pitch is over, strike 3 call. Ed Brasseau didn't like the call, and he argues with umpire Ed Vargo. So the side is out in the ninth, but the Cardinals scored 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors, and 1 left on. And at the end of 8.5 innings, the score, the St. Louis Cardinals 11 and the New York Mets 9. Now here's a word from Rheingold.
I had $200 in a plane ticket one way to New York. And it was all looked like it was just happening, just, like I would have wanted it to. But it's a hard town.
No, I think it's a simple town. If you have any qualities at all to offer.
People like new faces. And if they like yours, you're great. If not...
Every place I go, they want me to have experience. And I can't get any more experience unless I do get a job. And thus, I am stuck.
It's just, you got to know what you're doing. Either you're good or you're not.
And in this town, you can't fake it. You either have it or you don't. Take beer. Take Rheingold. There are 302 beers in the city, but the only one that's made it to the top is Rheingold. You gotta be good to make it in New York. Rheingold makes it. In this town, either you have it or you don't.
Last of the ninth inning, left-hander Larry Jaster from Midland, Michigan, coming on to hurl for the Cardinals. Larry, as a starter this year, has won 2, beating the Dodgers and the Giants. Lost the start to Pittsburgh at 2-0. His last outing was a relief assignment, his first relief duty of the season. So Larry Jaster, who was 11-5 with the Cardinals last year and beat the Dodgers 5 times, is being brought on here for the bottom half of the ninth inning. And Jaster is the 7th pitcher used by the St. Louis Cardinals. But the many moves, have paid off for the Redbirds, and they are carrying a 2-run lead going to the last of the ninth inning. At the end of 6, they were behind 5 runs, trailing 9-4.
Brody, number 15.
The pitchers of record are Joe Hoerner and Bob Shaw. Jerry Grote leads off now against Jaster in the last of the ninth inning. Jerry has reached on a walk, gone 0 for 3. Takes the pitch outside, ball 1. A single game tomorrow afternoon starting at 2 o'clock, and Don Cardwell pitches against Ray Washburn. The Dodgers invade for 3 all-night battle starting Monday night. This is over. Strike 1 call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Longest stretch worked by any Cardinal pitcher tonight was the 3 innings by starter Al Jackson. The same is true for New York. The longest stretch was by Jack Hamilton, the starter. He went 3. Fly ball to center field. Kurt Flood in about 2 steps is under it and has it for the out.
Bob Johnson, number 25.
Bob Johnson is up with 1 out and nobody on. Bob came in the game in the 4th inning. Has 1 hit and 3 times up. Outside and high, it's ball 1. Larry Jaster winds. Down comes his pitch. And a fastball is over at the letters. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the tall left-hander winds and pitches, and a blazing fastball in the outside corner. He can throw hard. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. A big night for Orlando Cepeda and the Cardinals. Next pitch on the way. Foul ball back toward our television booth. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Bob Johnson. This is by far and away the longest ball game of the year for the New York Mets. Game now has been running about 3 hours and 35 minutes. Mets trying to fight back here in the bottom half of the ninth. The 1-2 pitch by Jaster, a slow bouncer back toward the mound. McCarver grabs it, throws to first, just in time. Very close play at first. The ball was fair, going toward the mound, and McCarver caught up with it and pegged to Cepeda just in time to get Bob Johnson. So the Mets are down to their final out in the 9th inning, trailing by 2. The batter is Al Luplow. Al has struck out, reached on a walk, and collected a base hit. 1 for 2. Now the pitch on the way. Off the outside corner, 1 ball and no strikes. St. Louis, 11 runs, 16 hits. New York, 9 runs on 11 hits. Fastball over, 1 ball, 1 strike. Good crowd at Shea tonight. Over 30,000 in the stadium and just under 30,000 paid. The paid figure was 29,075. And they saw a wild and woolly battle. Off the outside corner, 2-1 to Al Luplow. If Al can get on, Don Cardwell will be coming up as a pinch hitter. He'll be hitting for Bob Shaw. Cardwell has the power. The 2-1 pitch. Foul ball back, no play. Don Cardwell, the starting pitcher in tomorrow's game against Ray Washburn, is kneeling in the on-deck circle to hit for Bob Shaw if Luplow can keep the ball game moving. The count is 2-2 on Al Luplow with 2 outs and nobody on. Now the 2-2 delivery. And a line drive caught. The ball game is over as Maxwell, hit for Sue, beg your pardon, makes the catch for the final out. Luplow hit the ball hard, and the Cardinals have won probably their biggest game of the year. Not once, but twice, they stormed from behind. In the 9th, no runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. Well, this is a tough defeat for the New York Mets. Certainly their most difficult loss of the young season. The Mets took a 4-0 lead on a grand slam home run by Jack Hamilton. St. Louis came from behind to tie the game 4-4. Kenny Boyer's double put New York in front 5-4 in the 5th. Then the Mets got their second 4-run inning in the 6th inning with Buchek and Cranepool each driving 2 runs in. And they were ahead 9-4 at the end of 6. But then the Cardinals came storming back on the slugging of Orlando Cepeda. Cepeda had a tremendous night, 2 doubles and a home run. He drove 4 runs in. 7 different Cardinals drove in at least 1 run, as the Cardinals, using 7 pitchers, collected 16 base hits, and twice came from behind, and they win it by a final score of 11-9.
If you like hamburgers, here's what you do. Just look for the building that's red, white, and blue.
Carol's for the best hamburger at any price. 100% all-beef hamburger grilled to perfection on an oven-fresh roll. Our customers deserve only the very best. That's why it's always quality first, because Carol's cares.
You care a lot for what Carol's got. Carol's is the place to